I just found a BuzzFeed page with nothing. Like a bush pig's arse. That means extremely messy hair.
All that and so much more on
Mob Rules. Yeah. Welcome to Mob Rules. How you doing? What's up? It's John here. Joined as always by
eating the pork,
by
Ted.
Ted eating some pork, and by Dave eating nothing.
I had some pineapple earlier. It's delicious.
Apparently, pineapple is supposed to make your jizz taste good.
The juice, not the actual pineapple.
Oh, is that okay?
Yeah, that just makes it taste like burning.
There was like some documentary, wasn't there? With like it was an interview with like a porn actress that was saying that.
Totally.
I can't remember what it was.
Well, I mean, I'm going to trust her opinion. I'm sorry, their opinion, because they have the most experience with jizz.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to be the expert on like, the holistic input of jizz.
Holistic input.
Also cures colds.
Anyway, you just learned something, everybody.
Wow.
That's why you tune in. It's like the Discovery Channel for your...
It's a stain on our reputation and sheets. What's everyone been up to? I'm gonna say I've had a huge full couple weeks of 40K.
Really? No, you haven't.
No,
You've been shadespiring.
I've been playing ShadeSpire a lot, and I'm painting that. Oh, I did write mission packets for a tournament I'm running on Saturday or tomorrow. So that was my 40K this week.
Oh.
Is I invented some really bizarre, vague narrative quotes. Gave the missions random titles, and I'm just calling it a narrative tournament now.
Oh. Interesting.
I'm very excited.
So you just put in inspiring quotes and it's a narrative, huh?
Oh, yeah.
They have to read words. They have to read fluffy words.
I'm going to have to look it up now because I'm very proud. So proud.
Oh, okay.
Of the weird.
So are you letting Nate write too, or is it just just you?
Okay. It's just I'm just taking control.
Okay.
Nate's terrible. He's terrible at writing, so that's fine.
Yeah.
This looks like it's in finger paint. What happened, Nate?
Scores
And then you
2.
ate the paper.
Scores 2. Win.
See, Nate takes care of like the unimportant stuff, like the rules and like the rules questions.
Oh, okay.
And the pairings
And the tournamenting.
and the running of the tournamenting.
I think of you and Nate kind of like the Milli Vanilli. You're the sexy front man who lip syncs everything and comes up with all this stuff. And Nate's the guy in the behind you that's actually saying all the important words like, no, that's not a rule. Yes, that is a rule. No, you can't cheat.
This is how you harmonize.
So mission 1 or page 1 says, when the skies burned red and the Astronomicon was extinguished, an ancient power stirred. There's an evil inside the Cavitas device, and it cries out to ancient enemies in the warp. They will come, and when they do, I pray to the Emperor and for his sons to come.
Oh.
Which is Reginald Archibald, 3rd High Minister to the Regent Supreme.
Damn, I thought you were going to say Hyman. 3rd Hyman to the Supreme.
And then we go to mission.
Tight.
Go to mission 1, which is called The Secret Invasion. Which
Secret
copies
garden.
keep these copies like my same format of just taking 2 Maelstrom or 2 open war missions and putting them in. But I gave it a title this time.
That's good.
And yeah. So I mean, you don't have to read the stupid fluff pieces, but it made me happy.
It's fun. I mean,
I may have downloaded and printed them out earlier today at work. And
did
read
you?
Them,
Yes.
So,
did you?
in fact, when I printed them out, I was like, "Why the fuck is there 7 pages for 3 missions?
You're,
What the hell?"
you're supposed to do double-sided printing. So the back of the mission sheet is a quote, and the front of the mission sheet is a mission.
What you ought to do is have like an extra like victory point or whatever if somebody like reads them in character.
Yeah.
During each mission, like
See mission 2. I have the device it calls to them, friend and foe. We must not let it fall to those who would taint this world and seek to bring us away from the Emperor's light.
that mission is the Emperor's cell phone.
Which is mission 2, the Cavitas device.
Okay.
And then mission 3.
Sounds like a terrible chapter from a Dan Brown novel.
I mean, yeah. That's
The
what I am.
Cavitas device.
Yeah. This is an entire terrible Dan Brown book.
Oh wow, it actually is a thing.
And then my favorite quote from the whole thing was before mission 3, the final words of planetary governor Pullis Smith. Governor Smith was mysteriously shot during the speech to the survivors of Loria 4.
Okay.
And so as the planet is lost, let our stories survive. We must stop the enemy on this day. And at this battle, we must let our brethren escape to tell others of redacted. But yeah,
that's fun.
Stupid.
Adds little things. To
adds
it.
little things,
Yeah.
like little fluffy quotes. Kind of makes the battles like adds a different layer and kind of makes it like you're fighting over something. And you can ignore them. You don't have to. Sure. I mean, it doesn't really. I'm not going to give a quiz at the end for what was the name of the third High Minister to the Regent Supreme.
It was
I thought you said Hyman.
It was Hyman Supreme.
Get your Hyman Supreme off me. It sounds like a Taco Bell meal.
Hyman Supreme.
Yeah, exactly. Take like extra salsa with that fire sauce. It's a little
like my Hymens.
The just add water Hyman. Just add water bean. Dave, you look very unamused.
Oh, I was
assaulted by a Hyman as a kid.
I was touched by a Hyman. It was a Michael Landon special on CBS for a while.
This is Dave crying in the corner.
Yeah.
It's a whole special.
My 40K this week was writing a 7-page event packet for a monthly tournament.
Hey.
And then getting very excited by ShadeSpire FAQ. Oh. Very excited.
Oh my god.
That was nice. It wasn't like I was expecting it to be like sweeping, but it didn't seem like it did. It just had some like, all right guys, come on. Think about it.
The major change, 40K podcast, I know, but Sigmar's Bulwark working if you have
that one,
zero.
That's a lot of points, and nobody ever scores it. So
Sigmar's Bulwark gives you 1 glory pole point.
Really? I thought it was
2 or 3 or something.
3.
2 then. 2 or 3.
It's 2 or 3. But if you are wiped out round 2, you play round 3, you score Sigmar's Bulwark because you fulfilled the mission because no one got injured that round.
Brilliant.
So I'm like, yes, I am auto-including that card in every deck.
Nobody standing next to you can claim that one.
Yep.
Okay.
A couple different ones.
So that FAQ made like so many of those cards open up to me that I can play an entire round with 0 models and still win.
That's great. So just launch yourself at them.
I'm just stoked that I was totally vindicated in my. I think you're doing the damage wrong.
Yes, we were doing the damage wrong.
What was the deal?
So you roll if you roll 4 dice and you get 4 successes and you do 2 damage, you don't do 8 damage total.
Right. Were you doing 8 damage?
You did 8 damage.
No, you did 8 damage.
I didn't.
Against my Stormcast.
Yeah.
On Saturday.
No.
We got video to prove it, homie.
I don't remember ever playing like that. So unless you were like, "Hey, why take 8 damage?" Like,
I mean, that was probably it as well. But no,
I always kind of just saw it as like Blood Bowl, where you either succeed really well or not.
Right. Yeah. Which is exactly what it is there. But that's enough ShadeSpire. But that's very very excited for that.
Is it enough ShadeSpire?
For a 40K podcast, yes, it
plenty
is.
Of ShadeSpire.
Plenty. I think it's too much.
Fair enough. Ted, what have you got for us?
So I was painting my ShadeSpire models.
Zing.
Well, it was I mean, there was a lot of that. Like I did 2 videos. One of them was actually trending really well. The Chaos one, and I think by the time this is up, the other one, the Stormcast should be up for a few days.
All right.
But I spent a lot of time with that. Also, it was really kind of nice. Like, I've been working on house stuff for a long time, and I finally come back to my desk and like, oh wait, what? It's all these like hobbies started to like fall out of the closet onto my desk, like all begging for attention. And so it was like, Clark, push
the shame pile.
Push the chimeras back. All right, Mechanicus, where'd you guys come from? Get off of here. There's like all the Primaris Marines and.
Oh, those are good Marines. You should definitely paint all of them and play them. Definitely paint them.
I was excited. Like I did a basic coat, so I got them like black with some highlights. I don't have, ended up with. I think there's like 2 guys with the auto rifles, and then like 4 guys with the bolt rifles.
Don't you just have the Dark Imperium guys?
No, I got a box like a just like the tactical squad.
The intercessors.
Yeah, the intercessors.
They're called intercessors.
Well, yeah. So I got that when it first came out, thinking like, oh, I'm gonna do an unboxing video. And at the time, I thought that Tom Warden had done it. So like throughout the review, I was like, oh, Tom, what the hell are you doing here? And then later on, I like messaged him. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? And he's like, I didn't do those. I'm like, oh, shit. Well, there goes that video. I'm totally irrelevant here. I think I've like. So I'm like, all right, well, I'll just have to actually like put these together as though I enjoy them, and I do. I mean, it's just So anyway, I have those as well as.
How could you not enjoy Primaris?
I do enjoy.
I don't understand what you're saying.
I had to do something that I enjoyed anyway. I was forced to do something that I.
How can you be forced to do something that you enjoy?
Well, it's hard to explain, guys. Just it's just hard to explain.
We got time. We got like 2 hours.
Damn it! Sure. Badab Wars be damned.
We're talking fast. That's it. Life lesson.
I got 5 pages on the Badab Wars. Let's move on, guys. But yeah, so anyway, yeah, I got did that. Was working on some Mechanical or Scutari Rangers. Finished up one of the the chicken walkers with the Lance Goad. So I'm slowly working those guys. Mostly because I want the bits for my Iron Hands. All the extras left over my Iron Hand bits. Like, God, I gotta hurry up with this kit. But I want that arm. I gotta make sure that I won't need it. But also, I wrote some fluff too for some missions that we're running at Adepticon.
What?
So
for the
Titanicus? Yeah. So Matt and Dave. So I think it was like Dave Taylor, I want to say, started the thing, and he handed off to Matt and this other Dave, and those guys were like, "Hey, we want to actually enjoy the con while we're here, so let's get these 2 guys that are really excited about the tournament to like run it for a day while we go get piss loaded drunk and play in a narrative game."
My kind of guys.
It might be the other way around, where they get drunk and then play. I don't know, one of the 2.
They get piss-loaded narrative and get in some drunk games.
That's right. So, yeah, it was like, I think we had to turn it all in by today, like all the descriptions and everything.
Yeah.
And so we kind of like, descriptions sound great. I think like a couple days ago, the guys were like, so what are we going to write? And like last year, Peter wrote RPs.
Makes sense.
So I was sitting in there like playing Fallout Vault in my bed. And like, and I just like out of the blue, like, I got an idea. Let's base the whole thing off of a snow cone maker. Like the whole, like the mission is going to be fought over a snow cone maker. And they're like, yeah, so anyway. So
you're saying they weren't on board with people taking thousands of dollars of resin to fight over a snow cone maker?
Thankfully, Peter was on my side, which I'm sure throughout the course of the conversation they regretted asking us to be part of it. It's like the 2 of them and the 2 of us have very different senses of humor. Oh, God. Yeah, so I actually, we have it written down here. So I kind of like pulled this out of my ass. I write stuff, too.
Are you sure Peter actually understood you were talking about a snow cone maker and not like he was thinking it was like Snowpiercer, the train movie?
Yeah,
which rad movie.
So like
totally.
So we try to like tone it down. We're gonna try and make some rules to where like it's gonna be on an ice world instead. And so like as your Titan is moving, every time they make they stop their move, and like a Titan can turn a couple different times like throughout, depending on like their agility rating. So like a Warhound can turn multiple times, whereas like a Warhound or Warlord can only turn once. So each time they end a leg of their movement, they have to roll an agility roll to see if they don't like slide. Mm-hmm. And then they'll go like 2d6 inches or something like that.
Into a building.
Right.
Into a snowdrift.
It's like Fast and the Furious Warlord drift.
I think it'd be kind of fun.
Ted, get your Titan up, all right? No, he's making Warlord angels.
And if you fire a weapon, like you move backwards that many inches if you fail a strength roll. So
yeah,
your Warlord who.
You're going to put recoil in?
You're on an ice world, so it makes sense. So we're joking about that, like how it's like, yeah, it's going to be the world's snow conus. I think that's what Peter came up with. And Matt and Dave were just like, oh, God. But yeah, I was like, what's that?
Poor Matt and Dave were like, so we can't drink anymore.
We had to babysit these 2 guys. It's like on a distant world, on a distant planet, forgotten to the warp winds of time, finds themselves torn by civil war as the heretical voices deafen the planet. Compelled to join the greater war, the loyalists and the heretics man their Titans to secure the research-rich Promethean fields as the planet enters a season of darkness and ice. The Gamma Station, capable of melting the deadly ice caps, remains the answer to which force leaves and which force bears the burden of survival against the harsh elements. And then like, yeah, by the way, secretly, the Gamma Station is actually the snow cone maker.
Wait, wouldn't the snow cone maker make the ice caps not melt them?
So this is it actually transitions into another mission that I was trying to lead into.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That they fully rejected. It's okay. So the next one, they're like...
they said they fully rejected.
So now this is called the we want the title to be The Harvest of Snowconus 7. And then they were like, all right, well, we need to come up with like an Eldar versus Imperial mission. In which, it was like, in a distant planet consumed by war, the elegant Eldar found their supply lines dwindling, choked by Imperial Navy lines, hot on their heels, and ravished by the internal degradation. The Eldar made a last-ditch effort to plunder the hive world of, make-up name here, for the answers of their needs, the last easy-bake oven. So that was their MacGuffin device with the Easy Bake Oven.
Easy Bake Oven.
Yeah,
well, you got to make it sound futuristic. You got to add some future words in there.
Well, that's not my job. I'm running the other mission.
Like,
that was a giveaway.
the Trigarasian Easy gonna Barcelona oven bake.
Yeah,
I don't know. Add some bullshit in there. That's
so
all it works.
After that, they were like, yeah, we're gonna work on the Eldar one. Like, but why? I feel like you're being insensitive to my creative needs. They're like, yeah, we just don't want to overwork you guys.
That's such a polite way to say stop it.
Yeah.
But I love that. I love the little behind the scenes of Adepticon right here.
Yeah. Well, by the time this comes out, I think they're going to launch or unveil the schedule on the 4th. I want to say. So, would that be Sunday? And then I think on the 17th of November, I think, is when they open registration. So it's coming up.
Oh, so it'll sell out on the 17th of November.
Jesus Christ. I'm going to be there hitting refresh.
One class at a time, Ted. One class at a time.
I learned that, what, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, but last year that worked out really well. I think just signing up for 5 classes at a time versus 20, and I'm like, oh man, just do small groups.
That's too much. And then I read you were wanting to do some airbrush classes as well.
Yeah,
locally.
So locally, right. So we were trying to get somebody to come up from the States to do that, and I was actually somebody messaged me locally. I don't think I've met him before, but he said that. He's like, yeah, I've seen your stuff before. Apparently, that the Ice Warrior army that I had, kind of like the guys with the parkas.
Right.
And he was like, yeah, that actually got me into 40K. So I think he'd gone to AK Dub and saw that because that's the only place I'd had it. He was like, yeah, so I started painting. I'd really love to learn airbrush. Are you going to host anything like that again? Or can I pay you to teach me? And like, well, we'll just do a workshop. That'll be fun. So now that I have a heated garage, I actually do that. But I got to put that post out there before people forget. But it sounds like, because I need to do it on the 11th, but I think there's also the food drive game in the Valley.
Yeah.
So I was going to do it on the 18th, but I didn't realize that I had Jackson that weekend. So
stupid life getting in the way of things.
He's what, 8? It's high time he learns how to airbrush anyway.
I think so.
He can get in the class.
With fumes.
We'll just go buy him an airbrush. My first airbrush. We actually have a Crayola airbrush, so he's fine. Just stick his markers on there, his Sharpies, and just go to town.
I want you to get the most expensive four-year-old model you have unpainted.
Oh, no,
and just
go away.
Do a video of him painting it with a Crayola airbrush.
No.
And then post it to YouTube with the sound of silence playing in the background of it.
I might immediately think of my Ferris Manus model, which is not the most expensive one I have, but it's the most coveted, which I'm baby stepping through there. Every year I'll take out and do a little bit to it, take it out every year and then do a little bit with it. Just watching him spray it with a Crayola.
And the thing is, you gotta set it up so because Sound of Silence is a good 4 minutes, so you gotta put the model down, set everything up all professionally. And then when it swells in the chorus, you just put the Crayola airbrush into frame, and then people are like, "No, no," and then just spray away, and just a 2-minute section, mega cut of just trying to get the eyes right using a Crayola airbrush on black and white paint.
That'd be brilliant.
I can see people's ADD kind of kicking out.
Yeah.
No.
That would be the one instance in which I'd actually go and buy a China cast model. Just let him do it. Fuck this up, son. Fuck it up real good.
Go for it. And then you're like, this looks really shit. It's it's what it deserved. It was fake.
That's when you sell it as a pro painted on eBay.
No, right? Just give it the high eyeliner treatment and the teeth on the lip thing. That one derp model.
Get Jackson start earning his rent by being the eBay pro painter.
Oh my god, that'd be awesome.
He already has the mental aptitude of it.
Did you see that? What is it? That it was a Land Raider that somebody had made out of a CD-ROM. And they had stuck some bits on it.
Wait, what?
What?
I think it was on Warhammer 40K. It was on eBay. Somebody was eBaying this thing for $40 or something like that. And it's basically a box with a couple extra doors and shit that they had glued on there. And a Marine with a pintle mounted a Stormbolter on top. No weapons outside of that. And he has a Raven Guard door on the back. It is fucking hideous. It was $40.
Sorry, I'm just Googling shitty Land Raider conversions. Didn't know it come up right away.
Yeah.
And you know what? These are all good. I'm sad.
Yeah. No las cannons, no heavy bolters. It was just There it is. And I think they had it as like Death Watch Land Raider.
So it's perfectly shitty then. It's good stuff.
Well, the guns are they're camouflaged.
Yeah,
stealth guns.
Just a little bit. Just
Did you see it?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. I'm still very excited. Like I googled shitty Land Raiders, and I only see really cool things that are really piquing my interest. Like there's one here that's converted to be like I guess like a carrier for a dignitary because it's like
why is it shitty?
That's not shitty, is what I'm saying. That's really good. So that's all I'm seeing is like
that on
really
eBay? Because I want to buy that. It looks cool.
That was on Pinterest.
Oh, okay.
Ugh.
Pro painted Land Raider.
So I Google shitty Land Raider. You get really good thing. You're Googling pro painted.
Oh, seriously? Well, yeah, I'm going on eBay and see if it's still there because this is like a week ago. So I'm sure somebody's bought it by now.
I'm sure.
Oh, this is terrible when like there's actually good stuff that shows up when, yeah. So anyway, that was kind of my thing. Just some models and some ShadeSpire and some.
I just
and
bit
some
my
whatnots.
tongue super hard
Did
eating
you
that
really?
pineapple.
I watched you. I enjoyed it.
Oh, all the pain. It's like
Someone else talk.
yeah. Dave, how have you been? Would you like a piece of pineapple while you talk?
I was chomping on pineapple the whole time you were doing that. Actually, I was just sitting there going,
That's right.
like, I don't have to answer to Ted.
My jizz is gonna taste really good after this.
She's waiting up, so I'm trying to cue it up.
Dave,
I'm now Googling a pro painted custom Land Raider while you're talking.
try Death Watch just to see if that helps.
Fair enough. All right, so I've been up to just almost nothing.
Yeah?
Hobby-wise. A whole bunch of ShadeSpire.
Okay.
I'm making a little progress on the painting. Played a game with John on the stream.
Yeah.
Recorded.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it has 1 million views now that John has it uploaded.
I think so.
Yeah.
I most
Sounds about
definitely
right.
do have it uploaded. I didn't get frustrated when Premiere Pro crashed twice.
Oh no!
All of it sounds completely legitimate. I started a little bit of working on a couple different models of my Primaris guys to bring to the Ultimar Cup. I'm going to try a couple different units.
Yep. I'm excited. What you bringing? The new different units.
I'm going to tell you. You can
The hell am I going to do? I'm running the thing. I'm not playing.
Exactly. He's writing the fluff pieces, not playing.
I
made a hard counter to your list, but I'm not playing. But know that I have it.
John, I know you got all the guys on the Ultimar Cup on email blast. You just sent out.
Yeah.
Dave's bringing all of this.
And all your enemies, that guy.
Yeah, that one guy. And that other guy.
Yeah.
Tyler.
They're all my enemies. No,
I'm Cody is going to be.
I'm just stoked for. I'm stoked for everyone to come to Ultramar and play some great games and not bother me while I assemble ShadeSpire stuff.
I got bad news for you.
What's that?
I'm calling for T.O. John every 30 seconds.
Disqualified.
Damn it. Well,
ooh, the Orcs and the Sepulture are coming out this weekend.
Yeah.
So that's what you're going to be putting together.
Oh yeah, we're going to be sitting at that judges table just assembling ShadeSpire.
I'm going to be honest with you, John. I considered not going to the Ultimar Cup, but I was like, if I say something about it on the podcast, I have to go.
Yeah, you have to go.
I feel like I might be coming down a little sick. It's Friday, right? So
the nice thing about our podcast, Dave, is actually if you say you're going to do something, you actually don't have to do it.
Yeah. Ted and I have proven that for about 2 years now.
We're going to review this tomorrow.
I'm being held to a higher standard by our
No, you're
listeners.
not.
You're really not. Yeah.
One in Rome, yo. One in Rome.
So yeah, no, I've been working on some. I've been working on some inceptors because I want a little bit of backline objective nuking.
This is my cuck squad.
Yeah.
Cuck squad. Fuck, I love that.
These are my.
We're going to take care of your backline while you're out shopping.
Go ahead and keep moving your guys across the table.
Cuck
Let's see what you got.
squad
Here they
assemble.
come.
To be fair, though, you're going to have like 130 screening units.
That's kind of why I want to drop them behind the lines and shoot some
Good
people in
luck
the
fitting
butthole.
them behind lines. More than 9 inches away.
I'm fairly certain I can get the inceptors in and get them right in the butthole and take the objective.
All 9 inches.
They're 3 whole models. Are you sure?
You could go up to 5.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's 5?
Yeah, you can make larger units. They're not
This
stuck.
is a
they're not
conspiracy.
stuck at 3. John.
Aggressors, you can go up to 6. And they sell in boxes of 3. Why would they sell you boxes of 3? You can only have 5. This is...
It's the hot dog bun theory.
Yeah, it is. So now you have to buy...
Inceptors, the hot dog buns of 40K.
You have to buy 5 boxes in order to get like a even distribution of 5 models per squad.
Well, it's the same thing as that new Tyranid box that's coming out that's got 8 Gene Stealers in it, Brood Lord, and some super sexy snake tunnel monster.
Oh, that
Trigon,
is such a good deal.
How is that the same thing?
Because the Gene Stealers can be bigger than 8.
Oh, okay.
But that Start Collecting box, where the $45 Brood Lord and a $40 box of Gene Stealers and an $80 Monstrous Creature for $85. Mm-hmm. Oh, man. Dragging me back.
Monstrous is $47. It's only $47. I priced it out.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Still, though. Still $130 worth of stuff for $85.
It's amazing. And I can't wait to run another failed Tale of Warlords with all of our viewers. Now,
what?
All our listeners.
Yeah. We'll have a viewer.
I want to start in January after the new year. Start a new army.
I'm probably going to be taking classes then. Wait, just don't do it.
Don't
do it on Thursday.
I don't need to do it with you. I'm going to do it with the people.
Whatever. I have to win.
With the people. He's a man of the people now, Ted.
He's racist.
I'm doing this for people in Australia.
Somehow, I don't know why, but it's racist. I don't know how.
I'm doing it for the Asians that I offended in the past.
So you're going to not offend people by classifying them by their race.
Skin color.
Is Asian a skin color?
Have you seen a Crayola box lately?
Pretty sure I've not seen an Asian crayon.
I think there's a Thai orchid color.
Oh my god!
No, God. Moving on.
Anyway, so that's what I've got. That's what I got. I'm looking forward to it all tomorrow. I can't wait to get my butt
looking forward to us getting like shit canned from iTunes.
Oh no, I'm so stoked about the lack of Supreme Command detachments this time. I can't wait to not face all the Dread Knights.
A little inside knowledge. It was going to be for this one, but it's definitely going to be for the one after. But an army is going to have 2 matching faction keywords.
What?
For their Ultramar Carp ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because right now, like, you can just do Imperial Soup and, like, I have keyword Imperium and everything is keyword Imperium.
Yeah, but I don't do that.
But yeah, so the idea I think is the next month's narrative tournament will be 2 sets of matching keywords.
Well,
so
let's see how it goes out.
I'm
expecting Primaris to take this one, so we'll be fine. Because I think Morris is on vacation. So
yeah, Morris is on vacation, but you didn't come in the top 4 last time. How are Primaris taking it because one guy is on vacation?
Because I'm better than I was before. This is a learning tournament. I learned I'm going to be better. I can't show you. It's a podcast, but there was a montage.
Yeah. It's always better when there's montage.
It's always better with the montage.
I'm just going to wait until he comes back with his like Australian version of the index, where it has like 14 keywords to say in start per instance.
Bogan, keyword bogan.
Anyway, that's all I got.
Swear word.
Oh,
yeah,
that's it. Adam?
Yep.
Yeah,
bogan. I missed that one.
That's bogan.
Yeah. Oh, what does it mean?
I don't know.
Oh.
I'm assuming
hey, Adam, call us up right now and tell me.
Yeah.
But you have to call like days in the past.
Don't forget when you're calling
bogan
to Alaska, it's not 1,700 numbers.
New Zealand slang for a person whose speech, clothing, attitude, and behavior are considered uncouth.
That's a swear word?
Unsophisticated. Depending on the context, it can be pejorative or self-depreciating. It's Australian for redneck, I'm seeing.
Cool.
Wow.
See, that's just like part of the American vernacular. I think. Yeah. Like we wouldn't see that as like a swear word, or is that what he was saying? That it was a swear word?
Yeah.
Oh, there was one. Yeah.
Swears.
Maybe just
I can't even remember them anymore.
Emphasis or something.
Scythe. I don't know. Something like that.
Yeah.
I wonder if that
was like, oh shit.
Rednecks are just illegal in Australia, and so maybe it is like a bad term like that. Like a really hostile term.
Fuck me, Dad is apparently didn't see that one coming.
Oh.
Like, I rolled 5 6s. Fuck me, Dad. That was good.
So, okay, our token Brett, Bob's my uncle. What the fuck does that mean?
That just means
I don't get that.
Etc.
Where did that come from? Bob's my uncle.
I mean, my uncle Bob.
Bob's your uncle.
That doesn't make sense.
And
why is that a thing?
Bob's your uncle.
Yeah, your uncle.
Bob's your uncle. Okay, so whatever. Why?
Bob's my uncle is actually just a statement.
Okay.
And
it's family fun night.
And Bob's my uncle.
What? You haven't been eating pineapple.
Oh man. Okay. So here, the word salve is short for saveloy or a red seasoned sausage. So there's an Australian term that says a fair suck of the salve.
That's hot.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess that's a fair go of something. A fair suck of the sausage.
Okay.
And Australia.
Good.
It's crazy. That's about all we've been up to. It's a fun-filled, crazy week of nothing.
I don't know. This is you.
We've done lots of non-40K stuff.
Yeah, that's really what it is.
And then very little actual 40K.
Yeah.
Oh, I bought the Astra Militarum Codex.
What?
That was my 40K stuff.
That's cool.
There's a really awesome sweet
Imperium soup.
there was a really sweet Katachan quote on the back of it. Like I forgot. Like,
oh really?
Yeah,
I need this for my tournament.
It's like it's like a Rambo thing.
Yeah.
Like almost like man, like this grizzled Katachan vet speaking out. And I'm like, oh yes, this book is amazing, and it's full of kind of examples like that.
It was the old one?
No, the new one.
Oh,
new
okay.
one. And then I did see as well, like they had like a regimental breakout, and there is only one squad of conscripts or regiment, so gotta play fluffy now.
Oh,
Only have one squad of 19 conscripts.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
that's good. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I purchased something.
Nobody has played with conscripts until now. It's crazy.
They were like, I remember like a 5th edition game like I played against someone like at 500
Sterling?
points. It was against
he had cultists.
Mike, a guy called Mike out in the valley.
Okay.
And he played like 120 cultists at 500 points against my orcs.
All
conscripts?
Conscripts.
Okay.
Yeah. And Overwatch fire against charging orcs with like 2 60-man squads of conscripts was no fun.
I think, those guys were just doing it for fun. I mean, otherwise, like, you have to just be, I don't know, like, have like a healthy meth addiction or something and just yeah, like, I want to paint for 3 days straight.
Oh, they weren't painting.
Actually, it wouldn't be 3 days.
No.
Okay. Jeez, just assembling that many.
Yeah, it's just awful. Yeah. I mean, I assembled 40, and I was just like, I'm done. Done now. No more. And like, even then, like, when they nerfed it, like, I'm now for sure just using them as veteran squads because I fucking assembled 40 guys that were a pain in the ass to assemble.
Yeah.
Like, and it was the old Katachans as well, so they were terrible model. I'm sorry. They have not aged well when compared to the newer models. Because they like have
you don't like the inflatable sumo suit look? Like, that's
the
adorable.
look of they skipped leg day and then just did upper body.
And it's not even real. Yeah, well, I guess it's all plastic, but still, it's like not even realistic looking muscle. It's just Botox treatment all over.
The steroids are rife on Katachan, but not like steroids.
Yeah. So strength 3 still, right? Yep. Okay, good.
Still strength 3.
Cool.
All right. Well, we are going to take a break. And we're going to come back, and we're going to do stuff.
Oh man,
so much stuff.
All the
fun stuff.
Yeah.
Pineapple. Man, my old lady's so moody right now. I hate that time of the month.
Not me. I buy generic tampons. They clean up all that gross lady stuff, and she's happy because we've saved money.
Wow. Generic tampons. I'll have to give those a try.
Damn, I can't believe I lost another game. All of my dice are rolling once.
Quit the whining, man. You should change your cotton.
Another rending hit. Thanks, generic brand tampons.
Generic brand tampons. Not just for ladies. For a limited time, send in 6 applicator sticks for a free dice bag. All right. Technical snafu avoided.
Yay.
Yay, we're back.
Yeah. Woo!
Ba-da, ba-da.
So I didn't know much about the Badab Wars.
How did you not know anything about the Badab Wars?
I mean, it's always been like around, but it's like, Goj Van Dyer and like all that stuff. Like you hear about it, like, oh, cool, the Reformation. Right on. Okay, cool. So anyway, it's your turn. Go ahead and seize the initiative, and like you're just gonna move along. But I mean, I heard a little bit like it's there was what is it, an insurrection or a little bit of quasi-heresy.
I think major rebellion would be.
There you go. That's a good term.
I too knew very little about it beforehand because I always heard about it. Like, oh yeah, the Badab Wars happened. Like Armageddon happened. It's kind of like a major war zone in the 40K.
Yeah. I feel like I don't even know you guys right now.
You want to learn about it, you buy $160 worth of Forge World books, and then you can learn all about it.
I mean, that's how I learned about a hell of a lot of stuff. But, like the Badab Wars is like, well, I knew the basics, kind of Astral Claws went bad. Space Marine versus Space Marine. And then now there's the guy kind of died and came back as a space pirate.
Yeah. I remember because this is like the story came out shortly after like Rogue Trader came out, right? So it was like really early on in the lore. Was it a White Dwarf thing or something? But
was it actually? It was in the Codex and stuff. I mean, it wasn't a lot mentioned about it, but you had the alternative color schemes.
Yeah, all the tiger stripes. The Mantis Warriors looked amazing.
The camo. Space Sharks camo.
Yeah, back when we had Space Sharks.
Still have Space Sharks.
Yeah, they just changed their name
to the much cooler Kakarodons.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well,
sound like birds. Kakarodons.
Yeah.
Which would you be more afraid of coming at you out of the warp?
Space Sharks
or
Kakarodons.
Or a word you can't say, you know.
Well, I mean, I just said it.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
I don't think you said it right.
Oh,
no, that was right.
That's exactly it. I did text to speech on an Audible novel. But yeah, sorry, Ted, you were saying.
Oh, that was about it. I was just making. So anyway, like, I think we decided to go back and revisit the past because we already did an Eldar thing, and Eldar just came out again. Yeah. So we're doing something that's not Eldar.
I'm going to have to say, as an aside, from someone who owns like a small Imperial Guard force and a large Eldar army and a large Tyranid army, I'm hating this month. Like,
oh wow,
so much shit coming out.
And the great thing is like, for the most part, none of those factions are involved in the Badab Wars. Like,
yeah.
There was barely any humans.
Which I'm very happy about, but my wallet is melting from all of the codexes.
I think we had like orcs and was it Necron who even showed up for a second? Like so,
not really. They were kind of like there originally and then got their butts kicked multiple times.
The Necron?
Well,
the orcs, they showed up a lot. Like, actually, they turned the... Well, anyway, so...
Yeah. So, yeah, we're getting ahead of something.
So going back, I think this whole thing really started right around 500 M41. I mean, the war doesn't happen for much later, but if we look back in time, like, what was going on, you know, like, shortly after the Great Crusade and everything... No, actually, during the Great Crusade, like... you know, the Emperor saw this area and like they were going out and like dominating the known existence. They found this place and was like, dude, this is just like warp hell right here. There's a lot of weird shit going on. And
the Maelstrom.
Yeah, so they go into the Maelstrom zone. They're trying to dominate it, and they can just get their asses handed to them over and over and over. And the Emperor's like, Purgatorius or Purgatorium or whatever it's called. We're not touching it. And then after a while, Guilliman, in all of his infinite wisdom, is like, by the way, we're not going to touch this area. Like, he just said that.
but now I'm saying wait. I made it.
And so he decided to fortify the area.
Yeah, no.
So Guilliman's like the little bitch who like stands behind and is like, yeah.
What he said.
Guilliman actually decided they needed the inhabitant. They needed the stuff in the Maelstrom. He's the one that said, we're going in to take it. So yet again, Guilliman fucks something up.
And then he stops. Yeah. Right. So I think like after that, then we go, you know, it was the 38th or 39th millennia. The Imperium slowly they put up little outposts and everything. Because this is like a major, like a lot of shipping goes through here, right?
There's a lot of resources coming out of the Maelstrom, actually, and that whole area.
And every time they go in there, they get their ass handed to them. They get some resources, they bring it back to Terra, and then they have to like run. But I think a lot of it was like, it's also right in the middle of like a trade zone for them. So, you know, they had to keep that area safe-ish as much as they could.
I mean, I was reading the first few like pages of notes here about Badab War, and I was getting like crazy episode 1 flashbacks.
Oh, were you?
Where I'm like, oh man, is this just going to be pretending to be about a war, but really about a small trade dispute within an empire?
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Who is Jar Jar?
And that is actually, I think, like, you know, a string that goes throughout the story here. And
Jar Jar's the Firehawks chapter master.
Oh, poor guy. No. So after a while, yeah, there's the area at Signax.
Yep.
Did you read much about Signax? I just remember that was like, that area was really important at one point. I think it was like one of the biggest hive worlds in the area, and it had a civil war, right? And it started to fall apart. But was it also one of the big hubs?
It was one of the solar system hubs as well. It would also planet the Signax Prime and stuff.
Okay.
Very key strategic world to stuff. For defense against the aggressors out of the Maelstrom.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so it was 55, 57, M41.
So that was kind of neat because I was like, the way they described it, it almost sounded as though, you know, at this point we hadn't seen a whole lot of chaos. Like, you know, it's actually no, I take it back. Like, or I guess at 41 we did, but prior to that, like the 38 to 39, like when we had the Maelstrom was first, you know, seen, it was like that was like really one of the first inclinations of chaos that, you know, anybody could see outside the Emperor. You know, like, so now we're seeing it like just like flood out as the original Eye of Terror in a lot of ways. but in like mild manner,
like a smaller.
So Signax was is Death Speakers and Chaos take over the planet, and so they end up fighting back and forth. Mantis Warriors go in to take it because they do a bunch of they're recruiting on planets in that area, so they're like, well, we need this. And
that's right, they're in the area, aren't they?
Right. So the cultists get control of the nuclear warheads and obliterate everything.
Oh yeah, the defense weapons. They just like turn it on themselves and kill themselves.
Like, haha, we win by dying and killing all of you.
Take that, fanboy.
So Signax is a rotting husk now.
So that falls apart, and so does the Imperial chain starts to fall apart with like Signax falling, and so like all the rich fatties back on Terra are like, we have to go fix that. Our monies.
The Imperium's only as strong as the weakest link, Ted. So
as the weakest fatties on Terra. So they sent a bunch of Space Marines to the Maelstrom, and they're called the Warders, right?
Yes.
So
the Warders, you got Lamenters, fleet-based. Astral Claws are the leaders.
Yeah.
And then Mantis Warriors, also fleet-based, I believe.
And they're in the area. Because I think, the Mantis Warriors, they're the 8th founding, but I think they share gene seed with the White Scars. So, yeah, like they're a hit-and-run kind of a group. And I think they're kind of interesting people because I think they're like the unsung heroes in a lot of ways. Like anytime like there's a really horrible brawl where there's no glory whatsoever, the Mantis Warriors are usually the ones to go and suck it up. Like this job. Like, here, go defend this thing that nobody's ever succeeded in defending, even Primarchs and the Emperor.
Okay. The Mantis Warriors are the Imperial Guard of the Space Marines. Exactly. Of the Adeptus Astartes.
But I don't know much about the Lamenters and the Astroclaws. Like other than like the Badab Wars, I hadn't heard much about the Astroclaws either. What was their backstory?
I think their backstory was to be bad guys for the Badab War.
I don't know anything about the Astroclaws.
Their logo is just like a mustache.
Yeah.
Like a twirly mustache. I thought that was a star, but I guess it's a mustache.
But I think my favorite thing about this time is like they send these like 3 Space Marine chapters. They're like, okay, sort this fucking planet or like this system out. And they sort out the system and everything's running great. And all of the the spice floweth and everything's going back to Terra. So of course like your middle managers in Terra are like, all right, let's get rid of one of those Space Marine chapters. You guys are doing fine. And they're like, what? Wait, what? No.
I think like they lost one in a battle.
The Charnel Guard get recalled out.
The Charnel Guard, they get recalled.
What the hell kind of name is Charnel Guard for a chapter?
The Channel Guard?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Chanel Guard.
Chanel number 7 Guard.
They got redeployed to a different crusade because they're like Terra's is like, oh, you guys are doing fine. You don't need them here. I'm like, no, we're doing fine because we're all here.
Yeah.
And the Astroclaws has been like 2 decades, like 20 years, just being like, can we please have some reinforcements? We're dying. We're doing really badly. Could we please have reinforcements? And like Terra is just like, yeah, you're good.
You're good.
Without even like entertaining it in like a formal setting. They just kind of like administrative stamp no. Stamp no. And they're like, you won't even listen to the plea? No, it's cool. We have
like
other things going on.
They get the same rejection letter that like authors and musicians get from major companies. It's just like with a 1 signature at the bottom that was done by a secretary. Like it didn't even get to the right person.
The mail clerk.
Didn't even get to the person who's meant to go to the mail clerk. It was like, nope, sorry. But yeah, so this is kind of like planting the seeds for why the Astral Claws seceded and did their own things. Like, you guys aren't helping us, and we're doing all of this stuff here to safeguard your supplies.
And I think like everything's, they keep going in. There was a big orc attack at one point. I think like they took Badab, which was one of the planets on the outer ring. And I think like their chapter master, they get attacked by this big orc Wa, and they push him back. And then the chapter master, the Astroclaws, goes in after him like, I got this.
Like a badass.
Oh, and he did, and he fell like one too.
He died like a bitch.
in combat with, I forgot what the guy's name was, like Manfeller.
Rovik Blake was the Astroclaws chapter master.
Okay.
He chased, so he'd been the chapter master for 2 centuries. He fell in single combat to the very awesomely named Vorg Manburna.
That's right.
Why the fuck do you chase a guy called Manburna?
I don't know. It sounds like he might have been a hooker. I mean, that's the kind of name I would give myself if I had gonorrhea and a hooker. So he goes in there, he dies. Then Huron, like everybody's like, dude, Huron, you're awesome. Like, you take this. And Huron is just like, he's not a fully baked cake.
It's like
he's a little
fresh out of the Scout Company.
but everybody loves him. They think he's wonderful, and he's strategically like a great mastermind. But he has some OCD about him. When he gets locked onto something, it's like that's the end all.
I think a great part of the fluff here as well is that the Imperial historians now point out that they maybe shouldn't have promoted such a flawed
yeah, exactly.
And I'm like, I love the fact that 40K has these moments where they're like, in the future, yeah, that wasn't a great idea. We shouldn't have done that.
It's not very often. Usually they come up with some bullshit as to like why it wasn't their fault. I mean, like this is one of those.
He was tainted. Chaos heretic. Wasn't my fault.
Yeah. So he what is he? He takes down like their major like the big fortress there and rebuilds this other one that he designed. He's directing all these like space combats, but he has the time to dabble in architecture.
Well, it was his passion before joining the rank of the Scouts. So
there's the Palace of Thorns.
But yeah, he's essentially Blackbeard. He's like a pirate because he reorganizes their fleets.
Mm-hmm.
He captures like Corsair vessels and reuses them for his own people, which now makes like 7-foot tall Space Marines in an Eldar ship.
Yeah.
Is no bueno.
It's cool.
It's like an Imperial Guard and a Baneblade.
Can you fit? It's fine.
We got this.
We got this.
How's your insurance? I need a chiropractor.
And then he stockpiled like world-ending weapons.
That's my favorite part.
And then he decided that like his use of exterminatus would go up, if for questionable things. Like, hey guys, your sea's looking a little green. I'm going to nuke your planet.
Could be orcs.
Like, sir, this is how it's always been. We're fine. Like, nope, could be an orc on there. I see a single mushroom on your farm fields. I'm going to exterminatus your planet.
We farm those.
They're knocking on the farm doors. Doom, 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 doom. We know you got heretics in there.
Bring out your mushrooms.
No, it's just us. It's just us. I swear, no chaos heretics.
But yeah, no, it's the plan. Like
so that's a scorched earth policy.
Yeah.
Nobody in the Imperium is down with.
No one is down because like they have like outer worlds in this Maelstrom area where like they're hiding one renegade ship. And when, like I say, hiding, one renegade ship landed on that planet, they might not have even known it was there, and he just wiped out that entire planet. It was like, you shouldn't have hid that.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
That's how you get rid of the taint.
You can never get rid of the taint. It's always skin.
So
there's a failed coup, right? Is that the next thing that happens?
Yeah. Yep. The hive world of Badab Do.
That one.
My scat music filter is going. Dave, why don't you talk about this because it has the word Primaris in it.
Oh, you were looking forward to that.
All right, so you got a failed coup in 718 M41. A failed coup on the hive world of Primaris.
It's like Badab, but slightly bigger.
Yeah.
Has an extra wound.
Yeah, it's got
6 inches worth of.
There's 3 extra continents.
Yeah. I don't.
That's a reference.
So anyway, ignoring John. So the Astroclaws step in to crush this coup, and that was the elements behind the coup brought forth by, I can't even say his first name,
Steve. What?
We'll call him Lou.
It doesn't matter. He's dead.
Luft.
No, he's not. He's still alive.
Oh, you're talking about
Huron.
Yeah,
okay.
Huron. So they bring him forth from Huron, mindful of everything that he learned from Cygnax, the Hive World, Imperial, Agro World, whatever.
Where the people on the planet killed their own planet.
Yeah.
Like, that looks good. Let's try that again.
He
Except not me there.
wrecks them. He just execute everybody, all the ruling class, everybody that could possibly have any sort of influence.
He seizes the means of production.
Just crushes them. And that is when he took up architecture and built his palace.
Yeah,
of
that's
thorns.
right. Okay. And he also took on the name the Tyrant of Badab.
Well,
I mean,
that's a good name.
It fitting.
I would take.
It's at this point they were like, maybe we made a mistake.
Yeah,
He's
nuts.
calling himself a tyrant now. Like,
Yeah.
wait, what?
Yeah, but the people of the Badab system are actually thinking, hey, this is great. This guy is protecting us. He's doing everything for us. He's getting rid of all these elements. He killed Johnny, who stole my sister's boyfriend. And, it's inheritance.
It's a very
just took her whole boyfriend.
it's a progressive world.
He nuked the whole planet they were hiding on, so it's fine. We're good.
Oh.
We're good.
So what I like about this is like he justifies taking over the entire system by comparing it to kind of what
Ultramar.
Robert Guilliman did in Ultramar.
But in a different kind of way.
Yeah.
Same way.
Well, Robo, he had the kindler, gentler empire. This is the tyrant of Badab empire.
He didn't get his empire by murdering the ruling class.
Redacted.
right.
Yeah, he did. It was just redacted.
I see which side of history you're on, Dave. Revisionist here. But I thought it was kind of interesting because, like, we go from, like, Space Marines typically, other than, like, Ultramarines, aren't empire builders. Like, for the most part, like, they just kind of, like, they go in there, they liberate a place, and then they leave. They're the shock troops. Then, like, after a while, you have the Imperial Guard, and, like, they send the Adeptus Terra to go in, and or Adeptus Administratum to go in and, like, take over things. But Huron is like, no, I'm planetary governor. Not only that, I'm going to take this planet and this planet and this planet, and it all becomes his empire.
System and this
so,
system.
I mean, what I think it is kind of like Space Marines are kind of like retarded robots. Like AI, like he has been given a mission by Terra to stabilize the area. And that was like his one mission. And he's like, okay, well, the area is fucking stable now.
Is not complete.
So like, although
he
like
stabilized it.
He stabilized it. So although like he killed a bunch of people and called himself a tyrant and brought everyone under his heel, he's like, I'm still doing my job. I mean, you told me to stabilize it. It's stable. You took away an entire chapter of Space Marines. Yeah. This is the only way I can stabilize it now.
But I think, like, in a way, it's the fact that he stabilized some parts, but his mission wasn't complete. And this is like going to that kind of like that stupid robot kind of a thing. Is like his end goal of taking down the Maelstrom was never completed, and so it was like must finish job. Yeah. And this guy is centuries and centuries of like pounding his head against the wall, like trying to like remodel the house. Like it's after that another bedroom.
But no, so he does this. Like he makes himself a tyrant. He writes a love letter back to Terra.
Oh yeah,
and he's like, really, the way we can do this and make the Maelstrom kind of a nice, safe. We're going to make the Maelstrom great again.
Oh, no.
We're
going to build a wall around them.
We're going to build a wall around the Maelstrom.
Yeah.
It's really going to benefit the Imperium. But he wanted more Space Marine chapters to help him keep the peace. Mm-hmm. He wanted his own founding to kind of get like a purely Maelstrom-only chapter of Space Marines to kind of get out there. But he got the usual... dear sir, thank you for your submission. We at the Imperium love hearing from our fans. However, this time we're not taking new submissions for Space Marine chapters. And he was turned down, and he didn't take that well at all.
So he protested a little bit by not tithing. Like he decided, like, all right, I can't tithe, which is actually, I mean, it's kind of a big deal, but it's kind of not.
For a little while, it's okay.
Yeah, as long as you're in war, you don't have to tithe. Like if it's crucial to like the mission, you don't have to tithe. And like he kind of justified it, like, well, we're in a perpetual war here. It's the U.S. and Afghanistan. So like, all right, well, we don't have to tithe. And Mechanicum after a while are like, this is kind of sketch. But it's in a lot of ways it's not a big deal. And the Adeptus Astartes are like, no, it's fine, it's cool, don't worry about it. So they kind of have his back, but it's actually later on like it becomes a big deal.
I love the fact that it's described that they're given infrequent and incomplete gene seed tithes. So I imagine like Mechanicum showing up and he's just like, here's 3.
Go away.
Go away. You need more. No, I have 3.
No,
that's
good. Well, I like that he actually went out of his way to organize his own army from the planet.
Oh, right.
He basically formed his own Imperial Guard called the Tyrant's Legion.
They were badass, too. Well, what? You didn't think so?
I mean, he basically created an extra army. He built himself a Space Marine chapter out of regular Imperial Guard and trained them better. And so they helped him actually secure more victories out in the Maelstrom and pushing further and further out and getting out there.
So compared to Space Marines, they weren't as badass, but compared to Imperial Guardsmen,
oh man, they crushed Imperial Guardsmen.
Right?
They were like, they made Imperial Guardsmen look like conscripts, and conscripts look like High Lords.
But so yeah, he formed his own planetary guard, and they were all badass and heavily trained. And I mean, that's all good and all. The main issue that the Mechanicus had with him and his astral claws is they may have tampered with gene seed and expanded their legion to almost 4 times the allowed size.
They did. That's just a rumor.
I mean,
that's fake news. Fake news.
Well, what's interesting is like they were also saying that like they tampered with the gene seed, and I think the Mechanicum they knew that something was going on. Like they didn't exactly. But they're like, what's the deal? What's the deal?
With as heavy losses as you're taking out there in the maelstrom, we should be getting a lot more gene seeds so we can replenish you.
So but I think that but secretly back home they were trying to mess with it, and they were trying to create like these faster breeding zygotes, so they would have more gene seed to be able to make more Space Marines. But nothing worked out. Like it was all botched. It was all shitty because in the end, Space Marines are stupid robots and not scientists. Like our creativity is putting an extra clip on our bolter.
Keep Maelstrom safe.
Yes. So tides, blah blah blah.
So what about the Carthans? So next door, I think we have the Carthans go into rebellion. I think it's like another planet nearby, and they were allied with the Firehawks. Allied with the Firehawks, the White Scars, Celestian Guard chapters, known as well as the Krieg and Kolsik Imperial Guard regiments. And I think like they also had like some Titans and stuff went in there to smash this rebellion. And I think at this point, did the Firehawks? I think they brought the Firehawks got upset that because I think like they were assigned because like everything is relatively fine-ish in the Maelstrom. Granted, Huron is not getting his like that chubby of victory over squashing the Maelstrom, but he's like, all right, I can take a break and go squash this rebellion. And I think they assign him as being like the lead on this quash. But the chapter master of the Firehawks is like, wait, I'm the senior guy here. Like this doesn't work. Like this guy's like 10 days old. What the fuck is going on? They're like, no, Huron's got it. It's cool. And so like ever since then, like the Firehawks have just hated the Astral Claws.
No, the chapter master hated him. The Firehawks really didn't care that much.
Yeah, Firehawks were like, keep Maelstrom safe.
Right.
So, but I think like at this point, like we really hadn't seen the Firehawks. So now the Firehawks show up, and I think they bring what do they call it? The Raptorus Rex. Like this giant fortress monastery, like the Death Star shows up.
I mean, that is my favorite punk band.
Yeah, I know. The name was like,
second album was better than the first.
So I think like they go in there, and I think that's just kind of like they squash it, they take care of it, it's done. Now these guys are major trade partners with the Imperial or the Terra, so that was why it was important. But I think like they point this out just to kind of like show the genesis of like the Firehawk Astral Claw thing. And then go to a different aside. I think like the first time that we actually see somebody show up to help the warders is 869 M1 or M41 when the Black Templars show up, right?
I mean, they're the level-headed people you want to come help you maintain an area.
Power armored meat puppets.
Hey, there's some dude over there who doesn't love the Emperor. Form a crusade, abandon everything else.
Yes. I'm gonna get a free TV tonight.
Oh man, look at that! In 869 M41, the chapter master declared a crusade of wrath into the Maelstrom.
That's all it took. So they go in there. They're doing pretty good work until they ended up pulling out, right?
The Black Templars were called away to aid Ultramar in the Tyrannic War.
Oh, that's right. That's kind of a big deal.
So, I mean, this is now the second instance where, like, Space Marines were here, everyone was kicking ass. Huron was, like, a tactical fucking genius, making everything happen, pulling the strings, and then the High Lords are like, Black Templars, you have to leave now. Go away. He was like, but I need them, for my plans. And he, again, gets kind of screwed over by the Imperium.
So what are we at? I think like Huron, just to kind of contextualize a little bit, like so far, this whole thing has been going on for about 280 years. Huron's been around, been running the show for 150 years,
give or take.
I think he started at 715, and we're at so 150 years roughly. So he's been cranking on this one fucking place for 150 years. I mean, granted, in Space Marine time, that's not that long.
I mean, how much progress can you make on basically a tiny eye of terror? I mean,
yeah.
I
mean, he made a hell of a lot of progress.
Yeah, he did a very good job.
But I mean, after the Black Templars were taken back and sent back to kind of help Ultramar with the Tyranids,
he gets emo.
He gets emo as shit. Like, he starts wearing eyeliner. He locks himself in his room. He listens to My Chemical Romance.
Oh.
He's got a picture of Angron on the wall, right?
I mean, he has like
really tight power armor pants.
He has $10 in Hot Topic cash in his pocket. And he just kind of stays in his room and locks himself in the library for days. Doesn't want to see anyone, and he's like long, silent like vigils in the monastery, which is probably just him sitting, thinking, picking his nose. Probably isn't kind of doing a vigil. He's just I don't want to talk to anyone.
Reading Edgar Allan Poe.
Definitely not talking to any sort of chaos.
Yeah, and then kind of staring. It says he's described as gazing unblinkingly for hours at holospheres of the Maelstrom, which is he's a little obsessed.
Yeah,
he's gone full Ahab on the Moby Dick of the Maelstrom.
I will get you, me Maelstrom whale.
So in the meantime, the Mechanicum are about done with it. They're like, all right, you haven't tithed in for fucking ever.
Well,
we're done. We need that shit. So they send in an investigative team.
Let's back up just a tiny bit.
Okay.
Yeah. So you were talking about a rebellion car thing, something.
Yeah.
Basically, Huron says, if you're not going to give me what I want, I'm going to take it. Okay. So he starts stopping all of the tides going to all the monetary tides. Not just
because no one really gave a shit. No one gave a shit when it's just the Mechanicus tides because it's just Gene Seed. Go fuck yourself, whatever. And then it was like, yeah, we're not sending you wheat.
What? When the rich fat high lords of the Carthago sector basically said, hey, we're not getting money anymore. Where's our money?
What Huron fails to see is, okay, yeah, they're not sending people. Yeah, they took a couple of Space Marine chapters away. But this is the time Tyranids fucking appeared in the galaxy and were ravaging hundreds of worlds. They almost destroy the Ultramarine, a first founding chapter's home world. They destroy several Space Marine chapters, and they're like, oh shit, we really need to fix this. Yeah, it's on the other side of the galaxy. Let's go. And it's just, or not other side, but it's far away. So there's like that kind of short-sightedness of him being like, my thing matters the most. We literally found a new race that we can't kill and is killing us. But this mini black owl of terror is no.
We have it quarantined, right? You got that ring of iron thing figured out? Yeah, we got that. But we still need to go in and it's quarantined, right? Okay, like North Korea? All right, cool. All right, whatever. Let's just
but they don't recall them. They don't recall
the Maelstrom says it has nukes. Yeah, it's fine. It's whatever.
Yeah. I mean, they leave the warders there to stay on top of it. Yeah. They could have taken them away to go do that. Sure. Which probably would have sparked the Badab War way sooner than it did. So that's a good point. The High Lords are sitting there going, hey.
Where's my wheat?
Where's our wheat, Promethium,
Prometheus
orc penises. Where's the orc penises that we use?
Orcs are genderless.
Oh, yeah.
It's because 40,000 get with the times.
Because in the Maelstrom, they're fucking harvesting their dicks as some sort of High Lord, erotic asphotic
taking their dicks, taking their teeth.
Yeah.
If orcs had dicks, an entire army of orcs on a WoW would be permanently hard. And the idea of like a 7-foot-tall muscular green killing machine running at me with like a massive fucking erection in
really
his
gets
leather
you
pants, like terrifying.
I really want to know what those orc.
Are you going to kill me or are you going to make love to me? I don't know, and it scares me.
It's a fear boner, John. Just accept it. It's fine.
I really need to know like what those things were that were on the orc cheerleader models.
Oh God!
Spore cavities, like what?
They probably just saw like the human cheerleaders, and they're unable to discern between human genders because like you guys look the same. Whatever, you guys are wearing those things. Okay, I'm gonna wear those things too.
So the Administratum Segmentum Procurator General of the Carthago sector finally says, "Hey, Stop hiding the tithe, all right, Huron? It's been 150 years. You got to start sending them their money."
Also, they want Gene Seed, but more importantly, I want my tithe.
Yeah.
And he's locked himself in his room, so he doesn't care.
These guys over here said they want some Gene Seed. I don't give a shit about Gene Seed.
He's listening to some early Linkin Park.
But I could not buy my 18th gold limousine floaty hover car, all right? So going to need some stuff.
Gold nibble pasties.
So in 901... M41, they find the taxman at the door. The Imperial Tithe Fleet has showed up, and they're like, we're coming to get our money.
And this isn't just an investigative fleet too. I don't think they were actually going there to collect, but I think from what I understood, they were going there to figure out what was going on.
Well,
they were there to give demands.
They were there to basically
really the same as we read in the Shadow Sword book, where the guy shows up and he's like, "You need to pay your tithe now."
Except this time it was Mechanicum at the behest of the Cardinals, right?
Right. But except this time it was Mechanicus saying that to a Space Marine chapter master.
I guess you have to step your game up, and it can't just be like some dude on a floaty chair.
So I feel, I mean, Dave, you can finish up here, but I feel Huron took it really well. He heard what they had to say, and, he took their suggestions really to heart. And then killed everyone and left no survivors.
Nobody knows that. It hasn't been substantiated. I mean, why would he do that?
Your Imperial
the records are lost.
Made up of the Carthagen trade vessels, the Mechanicus vessels, as well as 3 fully armed Imperial space cruisers.
20,000 Imperial servants were lost.
I don't know.
But then they start
fuzzy.
Then they start being like, "You killed us all." No, you attacked first. And like, it was a tithe fleet. What the fuck did they attack with? Paper cuts everywhere.
Have you ever had a paper cut?
A cardboard cut.
Your tithe
Ooh,
fleet
a space
shows up.
cardboard cut.
They warp into space. They disappear.
Yeah.
Nobody says anything back. There's no
so
communication.
this is the second fleet, right? Like
the first fleet.
Well, the first one just disappears.
It doesn't even make it. It doesn't even make it to the planet.
The second one doesn't make it. The first one does, and then it's not destroyed. But the second one, I think, was the one that they're like, no, go back, and then it just disappears. It doesn't even show up.
I would love for them to just keep sending fleets.
Yeah.
And make it like Hot Shots, the movie, where like you're going in to get the fleet who were sent in to get the fleet who were sent in to get the fleet.
Man, I'm glad you made that explanation, because I heard Slapshots, the movie, and I was thinking, what does a hockey film have to do with this?
I mean, that also is very, very based on 40K.
Yeah, totally. Bash Brothers, definitely.
So they're upset, and they start making up shit. They start a propaganda campaign against the Astroclaws, right?
But the Imperium does a mascot propaganda campaign of
never heard of.
The Carpathians. Let's just call them Carpathians. So the
Carpathidons?
The Carpathians, the Carthagonians are seriously campaigning.
The Carpaperdons.
Yeah, Carcadons. They're seriously campaigning. Hey. Mm-hmm. We sent in a tithe ship. We lost a ton of stuff. It's disappeared. They won't tell us what happened to them. Yeah. They're gone. It's fine. And everybody just says, okay, well, we'll go check it out. So they send another fleet in, I believe with
maybe that was the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah,
I think that's the one that disappeared.
The first one is the one that disappears. Just disappears.
I think there's one that later on that disappears. I thought the first one anyway. No, that might have been okay.
Sorry, the first one just straight up disappears. They hail the Imperial fleets that are part of the Warders. Say, hey, what are you doing here? And they said, we're here to collect tithes. That's the last that anybody knows of the ship. That's
okay, and that's where I think they were saying that the records are fuzzy.
Yeah,
and so disappeared is
redacted.
Yeah, by Huron himself with a Sharpie.
So the Carthagins. Keep petitioning Carthagins.
Yeah, and I think what is it? Terra is well, this is an internal matter. It's not for you, because basically the Carthians, whatever, they're just dudes, for the most wealthy dudes and very powerful dudes, but they're just dudes, and they're well, they're Space Marines. You don't fuck with the Space Marines. This is our deal. We'll take care of it. Don't worry about it. And no, we're not getting our shit.
It's not okay.
They're like the Trade Federation in Star Wars Episode 1, and they're petitioning Palpatine while also working with Sidious.
Yeah. So
who's also Palpatine?
Spoilers.
Oh, my bad.
But yeah, so they don't want to. They don't want to involve themselves. And High Lord's just deal with it. Just deal with it. While they're bickering, all of the Badab War or the Badab Space Marine chapters are preparing for massed conflict. And they're fortifying defenses,
why are they doing that?
Building all the shit up.
And it's not aimed at the Maelstrom.
No, no. Why are all your guns facing inwards? Don't worry about that. Go ask for more help, bitch.
So Huron's buddy shows up, our yellow and red friends, the Firehawks. They're oh, you have a problem with Huron? Oh, I fucking hate that guy. Yeah, we'll be right there. It's cool. Yeah. We're bringing the Raptorus Rex. Oh, that thing.
So, could you leave that at home?
So they do send in 2 more punitive fleets, which just disappear.
Right.
So In the meantime, they're like, hey, we got to start drafting up some legal proceedings, get a judge in here. I want a judgment, restitution against this guy. And in the meantime, that's what's going on with all of them. The warders are like, well, we're getting ready to secede. Yeah. The South shall rise again. So the Lamenters, the Astroclaws, the Mantis Warriors, and the Imperial Navy that they have with them draft up the Articles of Secession and send it in.
I love the fact that like a couple of the Space Marine chapters really didn't want to secede, but they got World War I into it, and because of treaties that they had to. Which I think is bizarre.
I don't know much about the Lamenters, but I was actually
that's the Tormentors, right?
Like reading up on the Mantis Warriors, like for them it kind of made sense because I think like they got the thing, what is it called, like battle haze or whatever, where like it's almost like the Black Rage in a way. Like they start to get like focused, like they get like they get all hyped up, they get all like battle hard, and like they can't see anything outside of like what's ahead of them. So I think like it's pretty easy to trick them when you're just kind of like bad guy there. You could do the Black Templar to them. Oh, he's a heretic. Like they're like, oh, here's the shiny thing that you can punch in the face. Oh, that's the enemy. I have to go kill it.
Well, you got to remember, these guys have been together for what, 500 years now?
Yeah, it's
roughly 500 years working together as a team, following this one guy. I mean, they're going to go no matter what. Mm-hmm. Even if the chapter master goes, or the couple of guys go, hey, this isn't good. We don't want to do this. We don't want to join Horus on his weird thing. I'm getting on a ship and going to the moon. It doesn't.
It's the
they're doing it anyway.
Thing.
Yeah, it's just all right, boss.
Yeah,
so keep Maelstrom safe.
Mm-hmm. So what is they're ready to unleash the power of the Raptorous Rex on these guys, right?
Thousands of suns. I don't know.
So I think the Firehawks, they launch attack into Badab, right? So. I'm sorry. No, I think the Firehawks they go to meet with the Astroclaws and the Mantis Warriors,
so you've got the Firehawks who already hate the Astroclaws, because he got his honor snuffed because he wasn't in charge of the command. So he's like, all right, fine. So the Carthaginians basically are asking for help from anybody hey, I need my tithe. The Firehawks are like, well, we'll help you out, buddy. We got this. So the Firehawks head in to check it out, which is when they get together to meet.
So they rode in. They start to drive in there in their space boat, and the Mantis Warrior's like, hey, we're gonna board. What the fuck is going on? This is our turf. And the Fire Warrior's like a sullen little bitch, ignored. So the Mantis Warriors open up on them.
Open up a can of whoop ass.
They start to break it.
Scaw!
They end
That's
up
how a Mantis Warrior sounds.
I think they end up boarding the ship against their will. It's a little Weinstein action there.
Topical.
Yeah.
I like that.
That kind of worked out.
Oh, good.
Or was it the Spaceed?
Spaceed, no, because at no point did either side declare they were gay to stop the boarding from happening.
So that's right.
Where's our tithe? I'm gay.
Topical humor. This guy
right.
abused me. I'm gay. Oh, okay, that's fine.
That's fine. But it was a guy. So they go in there. They just take down the ship. I think it's like one company or something like that worth of Fire Warriors or Fire
they
Hawks.
both
Firehawks.
destroyed each other.
Yeah, and I mean a lot of the Mantis Warriors died too, but it was down to I think 12 guys of the Firehawks, and they take them captive, right? And so then I think the Firehawks they're pissed off. They're like, dude, give us back our guys. What the fuck?
Well, they didn't surrender, but they were captured. But they spent so long wriggling and struggling that they managed to send out a message being like, these guys are dicks.
So I like that the note is minor defeat for the Firehawks.
I mean, because you still have a chapter and you still have the Raptorous Rex, right. So whatever.
Minor.
Oh, this needs to be
Raptorous Rex. Holy cow! It sounds like a kid's cartoon.
Yeah, I was thinking Mask.
I probably would watch that.
Totally. I mean, maybe we did.
Or like a breakfast cereal.
Yeah.
So you get a brief parlay to return the Firehawks prisoners from that were taken from the ship, the Red Harbinger.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just a fucking pirate.
At this point, yeah.
At this point, it's just like they're reading Treasure Island and just replacing piratey words with space words.
Badab is Tortuga. On the Isle of Badab.
So by this point, like the rest of the chapter and the Rex are ready to rumble. They get their 12 guys back, and then they hook up with the Carthens. They're like, all right, we're gonna assault Badab. We're just done with this shit. So I think they decide to strike like minor planets around Badab. Like they picked like a civil, like a Agar world or something like that, wasn't it, or a hive world?
Ilbis.
And they're like, all right,
Iblis.
They're like, we're gonna go in there. We're gonna start like wrecking collateral damage, and it's gonna draw the Mantis warriors out because they're like you said, like they're like a fleet base, like attack and retreat kind of thing. And so they're like, all right, we're gonna pull these guys out into like hand-to-hand combat where we're just gonna beat the shit out of them.
Yeah.
But the Mantis warriors realize what they're doing. And they start like pinning them to the ground.
If only. I mean, this would really work well unless the secessionist chapters had decades to prepare for an eventual assault by people they knew would be assaulting
in ways they know assault.
Yeah. But they did. So the Firehawks came up with this great Imperium plan of going to an agri-world and burning civilian farms and killing crops to bring the bad guys out, which is the most 40K sentence I think I've ever said out loud. But then they got destroyed.
Yeah, and then they nuked a Mars-class battlecruiser. Like, oh, you're not coming? Fine. We're blowing up the cruiser.
So they forced the Firehawks to withdraw from their perfectly planned assault.
It was a nice idea.
Yeah, I mean, it was really good, but they still had the Raptor's Rex.
Yeah. So they start asking for help. Guys, we're in over our heads here.
We were unable to burn farmers and kill innocents. Please help.
We went in. It was a great battle. We did a great job. It was good.
It was huge.
It was huge, but we're gonna need to get some more people to come help. Anybody?
Marines Errant. Those guys.
Damn it. All right. The Marines Errant. Good, I guess.
Good guys.
Anybody else?
Yeah, no.
Well, I like they sent out a call for reinforcement, and like the Marine Errant, they weren't sent there. The Marine Errants answered, be like, "Can anyone help? Hi, I'm the Marines Errant. I would love to help you. Anyone at all? Just any help."
Come on.
They did show up with 6 companies, so that was, and it was.
They brought a lot,
companies. Actually. Yeah, there was like, I mean, that's most of their chapter.
It was everybody. They were in a nearby system, selling some
cookies,
Girl Scout cookies,
popcorn,
expensive
and
stuff.
They showed up. So the Marine Errants show up, and they're like, "Yeah, we're ready to fight. Yeah, thanks, brother, for calling us. We're so good. Oh, hey, bro, what's up, Lamenters? We're best buddies."
Oh,
and then the Firehawks are like, "Yeah, we're fighting them," and they're like, "No, we're good."
And they're hanging out on each other's barges and doing slumber parties and shit like that because apparently a long time ago they used to be good questing friends.
As recently as the Corinth Crusade.
So I think like each time like a unit would fall under turmoil or whatever, they needed a hospitaler, they would just show up on each other's barges and like, "Hey man, can I get a Band-Aid?" Yeah, no problem. Hey, did you bring your PJs? We're gonna watch
Zombievers.
Yeah, Zombievers.
It's a scary movie night. We're gonna watch Zombievers.
So good.
It's a great movie. I love that movie.
Did you watch it?
No, I watched it like 2 years ago.
Yeah, I watched it when it came out.
Yeah.
Wow, how did I not know about it until now?
So
I
good.
now have it on Blu-ray.
Oh, sweet. Nice.
Next week.
Because that movie needs high def. But no, so like. So all these battles are happening. The Marines Errants are fighting, but everyone's like,
not the Lamenters.
Not the Lamenters.
Yeah.
What I love is the Carthens are now fucking broke.
Yep.
Like they're trying to control and do this battle, but they can't afford to pay their tithes anymore. And I love that the Imperium thing is, "Hey, Huron, you're not paying your tithes." He's like, "Fuck you. All right, we're gonna send people to battle you." "Oh, guys battling Huron, you're not paying your tithes." "I'm sorry. Yeah, you need to pay your tithes now."
Yeah.
And there's no break.
No.
Yeah.
I think the Marines Errant for the most part, they get stuck in policing duty, so they're not even really part of the battle. They're just trying to keep the pirate raids against the Carthan ships.
Well, basically the Lamenters wouldn't attack the Marines Errant. The Marines Errant wouldn't attack the Lamenters. So if the Lamenters were going to raid against the fleet, the Marines Errant are like, we're right here.
You're like, "Hey, buddy, what's up?"
And he's like, "Fine. We'll see you later. We'll catch you at."
You guys, stop that now.
And vice versa. So you got that going on, but the Loyalist forces get even more fucked by a piece of astropathic news, which I can only imagine comes across,
Ooh.
and we're like, Executioner's Chapter, sworn to aid the Astral Claws in recognition of an early event, have elected to honor the debt and have decided to attack the Firehawks. Who's at 11?
Oh, man. So, yeah, fucking treaties just drawing in random people into battles.
So we now have, like, more secessionists.
Yeah.
More
kind
wars.
of.
Yeah.
You know.
I guess it's not, like, official. They didn't share the
like,
same ethos.
we haven't left the Imperium. But
it's like, what is it, like General Lee? You know, like, I'm not fully into this slavery thing, but I'm going to fight for the slavers. It's cool.
I don't agree with it, but I fight for your right to do it. Terrible.
That's fine. Never mind.
So now we have six full chapters of Space Marines in open warfare against each other in one sector.
Anytime we do a voice for the secessionists at this point, I'm going to need it to be totally bad John Southern.
Totally bad Southern, but with like the PBS like war music in the background, like do.
Meanwhile, they fought.
So now I think like Huron is just he's now taking it one step further, like with his like pencil sharp focus. You know, he's like, all right, I must eliminate that thing. And now, like the Firehawks, I will eliminate the Firehawks. Like he's not just like defending himself. He's decided that his mission is to slay every last fucking Firehawk.
Well, so this time as well, the High Lords are like, all right, fuck, Huron's a war criminal, arrest him, and also the other chapter masters. And I'm like, this is like 50 years after this started.
Well, it takes time for the news to get there. It's not instantaneous.
But they already had the news. They were like, the Carthans were like, yeah, bro, he's doing this. Oh, it's fine. Fucking sort it out yourself. Also keep sending wheat. And now they're like, oh, okay, now 2 people aren't sending wheat. Arrest everyone.
And the Mantis Warriors are pissed off at the Lamenters, and they're pissed off at the Marines Errant, right? And they're like, okay, fine. So they wipe out the first two, like the first and third company of the Marines Errant, just like the entire command structure is gaffled right there.
Well, so the Marines Errant are hampered because the Astral Claws didn't leave the planet. They were like, we're here, Lamenters, you go handle them. And the Lamenters are like, hey buddies, we can't mess with you. And so the Mantis Warriors were just getting fucked by both companies because anytime that they showed up to fight the Lamenters, Marines Errant were like, we're not going to fight the Lamenters, so you're going to lose. They were like, all right, well, we'll turn around and go back home. And so they'd go back home, and on the way they'd be like, oh, Lamenter's boat.
Paint shit down the side of it.
just raping it.
So I think in another display of how great the Imperium is, the Carthans, the people who were trying to stop Huron and kind of get their shit back together, were found to be guilty of provoking the war. Her and the entire ruling class were executed by the Imperium, and the entire 14 billion strong planet was turned into slaves for 6 generations to pay for the debt.
Yep,
it's as though Huron won.
It's almost like Huron was like, I told you. And then they had like debts as moral enforcement programs moving across, being like, pay your debts. Are you a free man? Yes. No, you are not. Bless the Emperor.
Hello. Can I help you? Yes, I'm here to remind you to pay your debts. Have you heard the good word of paying your debts?
There is some rogue trader out there who's really pissed that the market's just been flooded by 6 generations of 14 billion slaves. Do you know what that does for the value of his product? It's terrible. It's terrible. But again, at this point, who's the bad guy here?
Who really knows? All I know is the orcs are the good guys. That's the only answer in any of these stories.
Orcs with raging boners.
They like to have
guys,
fun,
but the regular orcs are not. They're the bad guys.
You have Huron, who was like,
he's a good / bad
He's like,
guy.
okay, so you told me to keep it safe. I'm keeping it safe with the resources I have. I can't pay you what you want and keep it safe. And then you have the Carthians who are like, yeah, we want that back. Please, can we have that back? Imperium, please help us. Oh, you're going to kill us all and turn all of our children into slaves for 6 generations.
And I think like right about this time, I think the Mantis Warriors are starting to have second thoughts finally. They're like, maybe this isn't such a great idea, but no, it's cool. No, I didn't say that out loud, did I? No, it's cool. Like, we can punch them in the dick.
Those were other green and yellow guys.
So at this point, also, the A-team shows up, right? Like, led by, well, I like to think of them as the A-team. Like, you have Face, you have, what would you say? God, what's the main guy?
That would be, so there's Face, Mr.
Hannibal.
T, Murdoch, and Hannibal.
Hannibal. Okay, so Hannibal is the Red Scorpions.
Nice segue.
Yeah. So we had the Red Scorpions, and then much later on, we'll get into who BA and Maverick are, but I don't know who Face would be. Who would be Face?
Well,
maybe the salamanders.
Okay.
Yeah.
Salamanders, that works. Yeah. So he's like, all right, man, we need to have a ceasefire. Let's talk about this shit. Like, this is out of hand. And Huron's like, fuck you. But yeah, that's fine. All right, let's go to my place on this abandoned way station. And they're like, swamp.
Yeah, man, that sounds cool. Let's do that.
We're Space Marines. We're Space Marines.
Not sketch at all.
Not sketch. Let's do it.
And they have like a heated battle, like not battle. They just like yell at each other, like, man, fuck you. This is dumb. What the hell? And they eventually they each go to their own. Like their bedroom, talk about it with their friends on Snapchat.
So you got the Red Scorpions, aka Hannibal. You got the Raptors, aka Face. The Salamanders, who I prefer to think of as B.A. Baracus.
I mean, I didn't want to bring the race thing into it.
I didn't actually look at it.
I was going to say Minotaurs.
And
then,
at this point, the Minotaurs aren't there yet.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like that,
they ain't getting in no plane, so it fits.
So that's why I'm saving those two for later.
Gotcha.
I think anyway.
Okay, so. The Fire Angels,
the girl that hangs out with them occasionally,
and then the Marines Errant and the Firehawks are kind of like led by their callers for being bad kids, and they're like, "Come on, we put your leash back on. Let's go fix this."
So the Firehawks have the most ridiculous names for fucking just everything.
Good thing they got wiped out in the warp and turned into the Legion of the Damned, right? Oh, sorry.
What? Spoiler alert! What year was that?
Their Grandmaster.
Last year when we covered
their Grandmaster is called Stybor Lizarek, which sounds like a paintbrush company and an 80s type of media.
Sounds like it needs lotion.
Yeah. Like the most Bulgarian person I've heard. But yeah, lots of other chapters.
By the way, we love you if you're from Bulgaria.
Yeah, we do. Rusev #1. Yeah, like all kinds of other chapters now get pulled into this bullshit.
Sons of Medusa, Howling Griffins, Nova
my
Marines.
favorite chapter.
But I think before before a lot of these guys start showing up, because right now we have like the Red Scorpions, a few others. The two sides are really pissed off. They go back to their quarters. All of a sudden, the loyalist communications back home cease, and all the loyalists and they're just blackout. And then there's a bunch of ships start showing up from the Maelstrom that are full of mutants and renegades and heretics, and they just lay waste to the way station. They go in there and they kill, I think, the head of the Red Scorpions, most of their entourage. They ended up killing the chapter master of the Mantis Warriors, or is the second in command? I can't remember which. And then part of Huron's entourage. And then they finally Huron and everybody else they beat him back and wipe him out. But they also take out a couple of ships that are nearby. And everybody's pointing fingers. You did this. This is your fault. These were your people. No, they're your people. Blah blah blah. And I think the only person who's there is the Inquisition is the most gullible of all. They're like, well, it was just probably random. Fucking Inquisition. That's so very Inquisition of you.
Random. But yeah, the chapter master of the Red Scorpions dies.
He deserved it.
He did. He didn't have two cool models.
and so part of this was in a way, it's really looking like Huron had put it together. He's been dabbling in chaos lately, and he's been
My Chemical Romance picture on the walls.
And second is he was able to get rid of the chapter master of the Mantis Warriors, who was starting to have second thoughts. So he's able to maybe get them back in line, and then he's also able to get rid of the head of the Red Scorpions. So it's just a win all the way around. In a very chaosy kind of way. That was a very.
But he didn't have anything to do with it. It was just random,
like the Inquisitor said.
Random.
But yeah, this way, because he allegedly had the Mantis Warrior dude killed, he can be like, hey man, it wasn't my plan. If it was my plan, would my buddy have died? No. It's completely coincidence that I'm missing one bolter round and he has a bolter wound. Yeah.
So now we start to see more Space Marines show up. And they're like, what the fuck? So that's when we see the Howling Griffins, the Sons of Medusa, Nova Marines.
What I think is super interesting is, aside from the Salamanders, who weren't really a huge force there, there's not really a single first founding or second founding chapter. This is like
step kids,
step kid battles all around.
Yeah. I mean, was it Mantis War's 8th founding? I mean, we're really stretching the shit here. Like, how much gene seed is left in that gene seed?
It's so diluted. It's a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy.
Right. It just looks like Tetris.
The Mantis Warriors chapter master looks like Sloth from the Goonies.
Yes. And yet still more stable than a space wolf.
Mantis Warriors love around.
Recap.
And then we're going to get a similar thing here because we have all of these different Space Marine chapters on each side. And we have a young and experienced person being put in charge of the good guys and having someone else complain in the mirror of what they did with the unstable Huron. So you have two sides have like a young, heroic, strong-jawed lead able to save the day.
And what was his name? Cullen. He's kind of fun. I think like he's the Dirk Squarejaw of the Red Scorpions, which is.
His model is amazing.
Balls.
I think the head of the Terminator is a little big, but I like it. Yeah, I love how dynamic that is. Like I usually see like Terminators as being kind of like derpy and
Did you see his updated model?
Hold on.
Spoiler
alert.
Spoiler alert. So he gets killed in a conflict against a Tau, I believe.
Oh, okay.
And he
not in the Badab Wars.
He gets interned inside a Leviathan Dreadnought.
Oh, wow. That sounds dope. Yeah. Okay. I think I saw leaks about that. But I didn't realize
still the chapter master, so he's good.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So his own Warhammer community it's a Leviathan Dreadnought with
shit draped all over it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, shit draped all over it.
just poop.
Yeah.
Claws, right?
Poop.
It's he's got the pincer claws.
Yes, he does.
Siege claws. Yes, siege claws.
Okay.
I think
there he is.
Or almost lightning claws.
He has also dual autocannons.
Oh, cool. All right, yeah, he's looking proper. I like that. I appreciate that they dedicated an entire model to him. I mean, an entire Leviathan to him.
Okay,
I mean, it's not something a lot of people are going to buy. But
stepping away, isn't
cool.
the Red Scorpions kind of like the
Forge World chapter?
The Forge World chapter, baby.
Sure.
They're like, the Red Scorpions. We wrote all this fluff for us.
Hey, I heard that you were interested in Tau. Would you like a Red Scorpion?
Well, even that Primaris super heavy tank that they have down is Red Scorpion color scheme. This is the first time we saw it. Yes, the new Imperial Armor book coming 2016/17/18. The Fires of Syraxis, which brings all of the Mechanicum bullshit. So they can keep on delaying that as much as they want.
Yep.
So this guy, he has some pretty avant-garde ideas. I think, like when it comes to Red Scorpion tactics, like just like Huron, he kind of readjusts like their priorities and starts. Like I think he starts handing out scout armor to people. They're like, I like my Terminator armor. No, it doesn't matter. Here, take scout armor.
Trust me.
We're gonna go in there and do some stealth operations. What are those? I have Terminator armor. So they send a lot.
I really want to see a dude who's been in Terminator armor for 300 years step into scout armor and just be really clumsy and mismatched.
He just like high steps everything. Like, what are you doing? You're not climbing stairs. I don't know how to use this.
How am I supposed to fire this gun? There's no helmet telling me where to shoot.
My bolter is not underslung. What is this?
What is this knife?
Are there not chains on it?
What do I do with this?
So they go down there. I think where do they head to? It wasn't Badab. Was it?
Hallows Point, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Where they make kind of a loyalist base out of an old mining station.
Okay. So is this? I think like right about then they also infiltrated a Sterngrad, which I think was a defense planet for that area. So they go in there, they take down the defenses, and then they end up storming, the subsequent planets. And I think they took some Astroclaws as prisoners, which was kind of interesting because this really changed like the context of like that whole tithing thing when they discovered that some of the gene seed wasn't Astroclaw gene seed in some of the Astroclaws. They didn't use real meat in their tacos. Like it
was horse meat the whole time.
I'm sorry. It says here stamped on the gene seed Tiger Claw. Wait a second. You're not
because they captured an apothecary for the Astroclaws. And then they found out, like I said, that they weren't actually Astroclaws. They were actually Tiger Claws, which was a long-lost chapter.
A disgrace chapter.
Yeah, long lost. But now they're refound. They found other people's parts in them, and it was.
And they discovered that they had so many more guys. They had way more than like a standard chapter. They were
3,500 dudes.
Yeah, they were just massive.
4 times as many as should be had.
So
almost.
They had adopted and reclothed these tiger claws. So I mean, you double there, but then 1,000 guys a chapter. Like, there's still an extra 1,500 that's not accounted for unless they actually got those zygotes working right.
They do actually. They get them working.
Yeah.
Kind of.
So the reason the Huron actually didn't send gene seed ties was not to kind of make his own chapter bigger, but it was to kind of make the tiger claws.
Yeah, they were hiding them.
Yeah, and then because we brought you back, but you're also disgraced, so here, paint your armor this color. So then they become astral claws. Mm-hmm. And then he was like, "Oh, we're doing this, might as well, make my legion bigger." Or sorry, chapter, but now it's a legion.
And I wish I'd looked up the tiger claws to see like what their deal was. Like, why were they disgraced? Did either one of you guys look into them?
No, I didn't care that much.
I thought they were great. Like Tony the Tiger claws.
Okay.
I did not. No, but it's probably something bullshitty. Like they probably just
lost a battle somewhere.
They probably weren't paying their gene seed tithe and starting a small war someplace.
Accidentally destroyed the Mechanicus tithe fleet.
They spilled coffee on like the Grand Magos and caused them to seize up for 3 weeks.
All of Mars shut down.
Like shame.
They found an STC and they were like, "Oh, give us the STC." And he's like, "You want this STC? Oh, you want this STC? I'm holding it out the window of the ship. Oh shit, it's gone. My bad."
So right about this time, and this is, I love that this is such a reoccurring thing in like so many 40K like massive battle narratives. Is like right when shit is just like hitting the fan, like random shit starts happening. Yeah, in this case, orcs.
Yeah,
this huge like orc fleet shows up. And I think it's like 20,000 orcs, and they hit the Edimon. I think it was the planet Edimon, or the garrison of Edimon, which is also the homeworld, I believe, of the Manus Warriors. Yeah. And the Manus Warriors aren't prepared for that. They're on the fighting on the other side of this battle, and all of a sudden the orcs come in there and just beat the shit out of the homeworld. And now all of a sudden Huron is like, I mean, he's wanting to ignore the orcs because they're just orcs.
You can't really ignore 20,000 of them though.
So now he has to turn around and fight the war on 2 fronts.
But I mean, the only thing that would make it worse is if there was a bunch of demon-tainted cults start to appear all over the place. Oh wait, they did.
Oh,
one of the worlds in his sector started being filled with demon-tainted cultists.
That's my favorite kind of cult.
And they're like, they were getting so powerful they had actually driven the orcs towards that planet there. So I mean, if it's a big enough cult to destroy, like scare 20,000 orcs to a different planet, I'm like, screw you guys, we go attack this one instead. Then it's no small task. So now Huron has chaos cultists, orcs, good guy space marines, the Inquisition.
And this is kind of neat because this is that part where like it keeps showing up, and like, I mean, remember when we read like the Legion of the Damned book, like, when the shit is just getting like rancid, like
I remember that book.
And then like, I mean, like every battle that we, like the major battle we have, like shit's getting bad, Warp Storm, like everybody's just like stuck in it. Like when everything is just getting bloody, like the rando pops out, like the warp just delivers. Like, oh, we heard you like bukkake. Oh, we got bukkake for you. And
I heard you like liquid, so here's a bunch of jizz. That's not what I meant. That's what you get.
Yeah. So now Murdoch shows up of the A team. One of my favorite of the 2 chapters here that are showing up. The space sharks. Like, ooh, we smell blood. Ooh, we're coming in. And they just start like hitting. They don't even really give a fuck. They don't care. Start like just slaughtering motherfuckers.
Well, they just show up and start fucking people up, and Loyalist side goes, hey, who are you guys?
Well, we're kind of not winning this, so have fun. And then right when that happens, his buddy B.A. Baraka shows up, the Minotaurs.
The Minotaurs showed up.
Fucking shit up. Actually, he has a
Minotaur. Yeah, the Minotaurs showed up first, and they start fucking shit up. And like, man, you guys are being brutal. I mean, there's no one more brutal than you. And like the space shark's like, hold my beer.
Yeah, we taught Angron how to do this.
Yeah.
Also, we're really world eaters. Shh. Mixed with sharks, like some bad sci-fi original movie.
Shark eaters.
So now that the A team was like, they were hitting it in force, like the warders just collapse. Like they're not having a good time. And I mean, what can you do? Like suddenly orcs, suddenly space sharks, and the guys with the plumes.
Lots of chaos.
Yeah, and the chaos. The demonettes, they were tempted.
But part of this, we go back to Signax, that world that accidentally got completely destroyed by cultists. In a screw you thing, because the Inquisition finds out that the Astral Claws are going to go there and get a bunch of secret guns.
It's the best kind of guns, isn't it?
Yeah. So they're like, oh, no. So the Sons of Medusa are sent out to kind of stop the Tyrant's forces. And then that's just kind of a nice little battle between those two chapters then. But then the Sons of Medusa win the day.
Yay, Sons of Medusa.
Yay.
Of course they do.
But I mean, they really don't do anything else.
No.
But they save technology.
Iron Hands. Sorry, John, we're fighting over here.
That's fine. Iron Hand successor chapters like don't you use Iron Hand tactics?
I do use Iron Hand
tactics.
tactics.
Shut up.
I'm sorry. I use Sons of Medusa tactics.
Wow.
That's another talk for another day. But Sons of Medusa are actually a secessionist
pile
chapter.
of bitches.
Whatever.
Not a successor chapter.
It's still successor. Whatever. It's the same gene shit.
It's the same.
So they got mad at mom and dad and left. Big fucking deal.
So my favorite chapter, the Sons of Medusa, or as people like to call them, Sons of Banner, because they're bright Hulk green.
Okay.
Sons of Bannerkey.
Sons of Banner fight off the Astral Claws. They beat off the Astral Claws, which they're good at.
And they start they're chasing him down. And
I mean,
like,
how hard
did
they beat them off?
Well, I mean,
they didn't spit on
They're more man than machine, so it's probably one of those drills with a thing on the end that just kind of.
I saw that in a movie once.
So John, they drive them back.
Yeah, they beat them off.
Right.
Yeah.
They beat them off.
So they're trying to hunt down the Astral Claws. I think that was kind of their job. Is like, all right, well, you did such a good job here. Go ahead and chase them down. And I think they start doing that. But then they start like acting really weird. Like you're not really effectively hunting down the Astral Claws on that planet. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Nothing. We're just going over here and like checking out this stuff that they had in their closet. Like, there's no Astral Claws in that closet. Oh, it's fine. We have mysterious objectives. Oh, I mean, we're looking for them in mysterious ways. And like people start to get suspicious. The Sons of Medusa.
No, they're Iron Hands at this point.
Oh, okay.
Because they failed.
We're looking for your TI-86. Looking for, do you have any calculators or tech stuff? Do you have an STC by any chance?
So what year have we reached now, John?
So we are now at year 908 of the 41st millennium. We're going to be going to the second Battle of Sagan, which is kind of the largest battle thus far, where we have 6 separate loyalist chapters of Space Marines fighting against the secessionists. For like the Sagan system is like very vital to the Astral Claws surviving, so they defended it with everything they had.
So it's basically Gettysburg.
They kind of used some viral weapons.
Whatever.
Killed a couple.
I did that once.
Couple tens of thousands of people. Not Space Marines though, because
everybody that wasn't a Space Marine.
Yeah, everyone that wasn't a Space Marine there. And then actually they destroyed a bunch of their own battle line with those things. Like whatever, we got these weapons.
Was
before.
it the Tainted Legion or whatever the hell they call them, the Tyrant's Legion?
Yep.
Okay. Oops. Didn't we give you a particle mask? Oh, that doesn't work with viral bombs. Sorry.
There's a chapter called the Fire Angels who deployed pretty much their full chapter and sacrificed themselves in order to contain the Astral Claws. So they're like, they essentially got suicide bombed out of existence.
Great footnotes in history.
And this was the highest death toll of any single battle up to this point in the Badab War. Several warships went.
Say all of it, right?
Yeah. It was just
everything.
It was awful. It was terrible. The Loyalists won the day, and after that, because it was such like a key area, they were able to get like a really stable warp route going in and out. They could get the tithe going, so the High Lords were happy again.
Everybody's on the run.
At this point, this made the Maelstrom get split in 2. So you have Huron's half and you have the good half.
Yeah. And I think so you start to, I think like one of my other favorite chapters shows up, not because they have any character whatsoever, but I always thought their name was just like a total ridiculous 80s like cartoon, just like the Raptorous Rex. You're the Star Phantoms.
Oh man, they're so good.
They Star Phantoms committed everybody.
Oh hey, so real quick after this, so we have it split. This is going to be now the third time the Imperium's like, okay, those guys are contained. They can do whatever the fuck they want over there. We're going to withdraw a bunch of you chapters to another area for other reasons. And they're like, whoa,
still Tyranids.
No, it's orcs this time.
Oh, you're right. It is
orcs this time. But yeah, so Nova Marines, Raptors, Howling Griffins are all withdrawn.
I'm sorry.
And then they're moved on.
The badly mauled.
Yeah. Yes. They're heading to their hospital beds.
Yeah. Have you any idea how hard it was to do this quarter paint scheme? But yeah, so they were all taken away. So this is now the third time the Imperium has fucked the area over by redeploying troops away from it.
Yeah, but it seems to still work out a little bit because like this. Yeah, the Star Phantoms show up. They bomb. They drop ship and Thunderhawk all their way into the Palace of Thorns for the last push to get her on. Am I missing anything? Or I think that's about.
You're skipping a little ahead.
Just a little bit. So they make an Inquisitor.
I think I got bored. I was like, I'm writing stuff down.
The Inquisitors they make a little plan. They decide they're going to destroy the Lamenters. Because they're like, yeah. So they try and isolate the Lamenters alone. So that was their new plan. They were going to take them out one by one, and the Lamenters were like still very kind of a huge force, but they were the smallest of the secessionists. So they came into a plan, and they of course got the Minotaurs chapter to do it.
Can I smash? Yes, you can smash.
Yay!
Can I have smash?
So what they did, they sent the Minotaurs in a kind of a really fast attack force, and then caught up to the Lamenters chapter like main barge. And they just smashed the fuck out of it.
Ripped out the wiring.
Yeah, they peed in the navigation system.
Oh, good, okay. I guess in the bathtub I was about to have like PTSD flashbacks.
They earwormed the navigator psyker guy
because they were attacking like the main chapter.
Oh no!
They were attacking the main chapter ship of the Lamenters. It made every other Lamenter ship have to come back and defend it because of their gene seed stores and all that other kind of stuff. But then, of course, Minotaurs are amazing at ship-to-ship fighting, and they're boarding and all that other kind of stuff.
Yeah.
The majority of their fleet was ruined, left drifting. The Minotaurs claimed the salvaging of all the ships to replace their own, which I feel they probably got a really good deal on.
All their stuff had like fist prints through the walls, and like everybody's doors kicked in just because it's a Minotaur ship.
And then 311 Lamenters survived the battle, and they were all put in a prison hulk orbiting a planet for the rest of the war. And less than 100 were redeployed elsewhere during the fight that still remained. So essentially there's only 100 Lamenters left. Because those 311 are kind of left alone by themselves in solitary confinement forever.
Yeah, well for a while.
Insane.
Yeah, for a while.
Well, yeah, forever. Wink.
Yeah. So is this about the time where we get to
the Angstrom incident?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so the Angstrom incident is simply that the Loyalists discovered that the Astral Closet established a material transfer site with a local Forge World. Forge Worlds, they're good.
Okay.
And so the Red Scorpions and the Salamanders show up and ambush to hand over, destroying the cache of equipment and wrecking the possibility of any future material transfer from the Mechanicus of Angstrom.
Because y'all know Mechanicus, they don't care about size. They're like, hey man, here's a toaster instruction manual. Yeah. All right, man, here's some guns.
Yeah. Check it out, it's an easy bake oven. We found it in the
oh man, here's some armor. Yeah, we'll fix your shit. Just keep giving me those sweet pieces of paper.
This looks like you just wrote on paper and said STC on the top.
I just like that the Red Scorpions shit all over a Forge World.
I definitely wanted to start a Red Scorpion army after reading this. Like, those guys they're awesome. Like, I think if like Mantis Warriors weren't green, I probably would.
I want to start Astral Claws.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Except they don't last long. They're gone now.
I got news. Well,
it'd be really easy. You just start a Red Corsair army.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
But at this point. At this point, like the secessionists were really just a nussance. At this point, like the Imperium, they were they had all the big trade routes, they had all the good planets, but the worlds that Huron still controlled, they got fucked over. Like he was like even more severe with them, and on top of that, he was like super paranoid. Yeah, he was it's just talking to himself, babbling, going crazy over shit. he was not in a good state.
I kind of wonder if a lot of that, like was he was so hyper focused for so many centuries. Basically like at the point in which like the Black Templars came in and they failed to take the Maelstrom. Like he had been there he had been in charge, I think, at that point for 150 years. He had been there for at least over 200 years. And I think like he was finally at the point where he's like, yes, we're finally going to do this. And then Black Templars left and they're like, fuck. And they got their ass handed to them. And so I think like, they maybe just like cracked his whole sense of, everything. And just, I don't know. I mean, it could have been chaos, but, just being so close to your, to victory and then.
If your hopes for a crusade or succeeding are relying on the Black Templars, you're basically screwed. They're basically the Monty Python of Space Marine chapters there.
Yeah.
One of the greatest battles is there was a moon where they had a tank battle between one good chapter, one bad chapter.
Well, at this point it would have to be Astral Claw or no. Execute. Who was the extra chapter that joined in?
It was the Executioners, because initially the only three were the Lamentators.
Yeah, it was the Executioners versus the Minotaurs. They had a tank duel on an airless moon, which to me just sounds so good. Like, a Vindicator fires and hits a tank, and then that causes it to leave the ground and slowly float off into orbit.
Remember when they used to do campaign books, like several years ago, that had fun rules like that? It was like the Crusade of Fire or whatever.
I own that book. Yes.
Yeah, that was awesome. Where you had like 0G rules and stuff. Like people could get blast weapons, knock people over. And
they did the last couple of years. They've come out with new ones of those for 7th edition.
They're just kind of weird.
It was in the Horus Heresy books.
Huh.
Right.
As part of there's rules for the Zone Mortalis space combat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because like when you fire a higher energy weapon, like if you roll a las cannon, you have to roll a dice and add the strength. If you exceed 12, you punch a hole on the outside of the ship. So it's like, oh, do I really want to fire this? Because like if you punched a hole in the ship, that entire tile, everyone has to take a strength test or be dragged off the ship.
Suck.
Oh, it's so good. I like
legit.
I'd like one last cannon guy left, surrounded by other people. So I'm like, I'm gonna take my own guy out.
Winsies.
So we've got the Karkadon, the space sharks show up, start wrecking face.
Yeah.
The orcs pop up again after Astral Claws fall back onto Badab.
Like, hello,
orcs.
So basically they.
Oh, that's right. Because then there's a battle between Huron and Manburner.
Oh,
right?
you killed my father.
Yep. You killed my chapter master. Prepare to die.
Because I think, like, I don't remember too much about it. Like I said, like, I was getting to the point where it's like, oh, there's just too many battles. Like, I get it. They're already won. But yeah, I think, like, this was actually kind of like like one of the few, like, things that worked out in the Warders' favor was, like, Huron met up with Manburner again and hand to hand, and he killed him. And I think, like, his planet were, they reinvigorated by that duel. So, a little footnote.
So, they kind of go back and they take back their escalating their engagements. They're not fighting as much as they are. However, the loyalist gene seed is getting stolen by the Astral Claws to make more dudes for themselves at this point. They're like,
Which is kind of silly because, like, I think of this. Well, I guess not silly. I mean, you got to do what you can and hope that it works out. But like, like they're getting their ass handed to them, and it's not overnight that you make a space marine. So you're kind of like hedging your bets.
Well, he's been working on it. He's got a mini call. He's been making them as fast as he can.
Yeah.
So you basically, the last thing is your Star Phantoms finally show up.
Okay, thank God.
You want to tell us about the Star
We're
Phantoms?
We're at the end now.
All right. A little editorial note: we skipped maybe one or two battles.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. There are
a lot of battles that we're actually just kind of skipping over. So
I think John's being facetious. But
no, I'm not at all, because there's literally like this is two.
Yeah, I know it's a lot.
Two entire Forge World Imperial Index books is dedicated to the Badab War, but we can't.
There's a lot.
We can't realistically cover every single battle.
No,
and I think in a way, like, they probably put those in there because it gives you a lot of different reasons. Like, if this whole war was only like a few different battles, then like that wouldn't be a whole lot of fun.
So
now it's like lots of different ways that you can envision your games, and so you have lots of scenarios. And
this is the biggest heretical battle type thing since the heresy, so it's kind of a big deal in terms of fluff.
The only real time that we've seen Marine on Marine.
It's a 40K. So since 30K stuff didn't used to exist when this was written originally, it's kind of was fun to be able to do this fluff and create these guys to do these battles. It was closest you were going to get to 30K until they said, here's 30K.
So Star Phantoms storm the castle. And
I will say by this point, the Mantis Warriors have given up.
Yeah,
the Space Sharks have just absolutely fucked them.
There was, I think they had like a campaign. What was it called? The Edamon offensive campaign or whatever. So So they got their own whole thing. You know, like there's an entire like mini battle war going on over on their home planet. So yeah, you're right. So that happens.
That's where the Orc uprising keeps happening.
Yeah. So yeah, the Star Phantoms or the Mantis Warriors quit.
Yeah.
And then. So the Inquisitors tell the High Lords, hey, Mantis Warriors quit. And they're like, yes, nice job, guys. We're not sending any of those Imperial Guard reinforcements we said we would send, by the way. Sorry.
So now we're on to the last push. We just got to get rid of the last chapter. Who was it that did? So we have the Star Phantoms. They're going down in there. And they immediately hit the surface. They're blowing stuff up on the way, and they hop down to the sewers, run in there like episode 7, like bust it, come out of like the janitorial closet, take down like all the defenses for the what do they call it? The planet's destroyer killer.
Star Killer. No.
What was it? Star Killer Fortress? Star Killer Base? Yeah.
Star Killer Base.
So they take it out. So like the Huron is running. He's on the move, trying to get out of there. And I think it was the Captain Andocles wings him, and by wing him, near fatally injure him with a Melta blast to the chest.
Combi Melta blast.
It's a solid tactic.
Yeah. I just winged him near fatally.
Winged him with a Melta gun. He'll be fine. He's a Space Marine.
In my entire family, who wasn't even on the premises when it happened, would have died if I would have got shot by a Melta gun. Good thing he was a chapter master. So that's the upright. That's them. They make a hasty escape at that point, and
into the maelstrom.
it was not quite as gracious as they were liking.
Yeah. So. The captain of Star Phantom's captain was struck down in combat, like you said, and with his last dying strength, just melted blast point blanked Huron, taking away most of his arm, most of his right side. His burning armor kind of fell to the ground, and that's the last image anyone ever saw of Huron.
Which is kind of neat because so later on, if you actually look at the model of him, he does have like on the right hand side of his chest plate, it's all busted up.
Though? The body was never found.
Oh, right, that's a different Huron.
Yeah, so Huron's body was never found.
Yeah, but Blackheart, Huron Blackheart,
oh man, that's my favorite
person.
punk band.
Yeah, so he ends up hooking up, going into chaos, just full bore, just starts doing it. They change their name to the Red Corsairs, take on some more
allegedly
chapters, and do their thug fizzle and become pirates. Pretty badass pirates, from what I remember.
Oh yeah.
Was it the red or the
Red Corsairs?
Beast of the Arisings?
Yeah. Like it's all stuff that the guys are doing during the things like the pirate tactics of taking ships and doing kind of all of these huge assaults and all that other kind of fun stuff. So it's all kind of stuff they're doing there before, and it's another example of a Space Marine chapter falling without falling. Like they're not necessarily falling because mustache twirling evil chaos.
Just you stop loving me.
Yeah, they just need to survive, and that's
If you think of it like chaos or opportunists, you know, like they found this like horrible situation. I mean, you know, it was like the planets had aligned in so many ways. You know, like, all right, we're hanging out by the warp where funny shit happens after midnight. You know, like we're in a situation where, you know, like our mommy and daddy neglected us. They left the meth pipe with a whole bunch of old Sudafed there by the bathtub. You know, it's just like whatever, and you kind of expect for the best. And chaos shows up. Hey, I can show you how to distill that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm comparing now the two models. The Luft Huron, Chapter Master of the Astral Claws, and the Red Corsair Huron.
Oh.
It's
very different.
Very different. I mean, there's a little bit of similarities in the face, I would say. But, and the battle damage is kind of similar. Yeah. But I think they went too far. Like, with that fluff, and I don't know which came first, the Huron Blackheart or the Luft Huron. But I think if the Luft Huron or the Huron Blackheart came first, it's understandable. Otherwise, he's too chaosy as a model for me. I feel like if the Red Crusaders are truly kind of Astral Claws, but like 41st millennium. They shouldn't be all 8-pointed stars and, chaos eyes and X's and demons everywhere. They should be legitimately just...
Yeah. You know what's kind of interesting? If you look at that, he still has an iron halo, like the chaos version.
Yeah.
So, there's like that. That's like the...
But it's a bigger iron halo.
He also has one on his axe, too. Like, I got a few of these laying around.
Have they moderately established what technical year it is in the Imperium yet?
Yeah. So it's really, like, I didn't realize this. I actually double-checked it because now we're sitting at 913.
I thought it was 994.
Oh, no. Currently in the fluff, we're actually at 111.42.
Oh, yeah.
So
I think it's between 994 and 111 because it's like the maelstrom, like the new big rift.
So they got 200 years in the warp then, basically, is what you're saying.
Yeah. But
so the time this happens, like, and they made that model. So actually, the Badab Wars, and I was really kind of surprised about this. The Badab Wars happened like just a few decades before the 13th Black Crusade that we're now currently in. So right up until this point, like this is actually really like Badab Wars, even though it's been around for 30 years, like it's really recent, like super recent.
In timeline stuff.
So I'm holding up here just a Huron Blackheart miniature from GW. And then we're moving across to the left Huron.
Okay, yeah.
And that's my only thing.
Very different.
Is very, very different.
They have claws on one hand. That's about the similarity.
And unless, like, in the warp, it was like, hey, man, I'm going to give you a hand job if you fall to chaos. And he's like, well, I don't have a dick. And I was like, it's fine. It's fine. And he falls, like, super huge. Yeah. Then I don't know.
So I'm thinking, because he has that flamer on one side, and then he has that, like, weird thing that I think it's like some sort of bale flamer or something like that that's in his hand. So like his flamer goes from one hand to the other and goes into the palm versus outside, and then he has like claws on one side, and then he picks up an axe at some point. I don't know. I mean, there's like a lot of, and this is actually, that's all supposed to happen. Like the genesis from him going from Terminator armor to like 3+ save with like his dick sucky hand is all in the span of like a couple decades.
It is a glory hole hand.
Yeah.
Holy cow, yeah.
So that's only in a couple decades. For Space Marine time, that's not a long
time. He must have been really bad at fighting.
But we also have to remember that like the warp time goes differently. So
that is true.
So that's like the get out of jail
Didn't you say, though, that his Terminator armor was shredded? Like, fell off of him and stuff?
Oh, yeah.
No, it was half melted.
Right, so he's probably not using it. He's probably got armor from another guy who died.
Oh, yeah, maybe like he grabbed Chaos armor from a dude.
And maybe it's coincidence, but although on his Chaos model, he does have like the battle damage on his chest where he was supposedly hit with a melt-a-gun. So...
But it's a different mark of armor.
I know. So I don't know. Maybe it is a coincidence.
Yeah. Maybe it's not that
maybe
where
we're
he
looking
got hit. It's the armor that he took from somebody else who did get hit.
Or it got warped into 3+ power armor.
Or I'm just looking way too deeply into two different models for
who knows.
Who knows?
So I think the last thing that really happens here. Do you have more last things?
The space sharks lay claim to the Mantis Warriors' homeworlds and said, like, these are ours now.
Yeah.
Anytime we show up, you leave, and we'll take what we want, and then we'll leave. And the Mantis Warriors are like, okay.
So the Mantis Warriors and the Lamenters are sent on a penitence crusade for 100 years. Which, interestingly enough, puts us right about now, in the fluff. Like they are now done with their penitence crusade.
So technically, if you wanted to field Guilliman and Mantis Warriors together, you'd be good right now.
Last week, not so much.
Not so much. Lamenters, same thing. They're good guys again, kind of, except for the original Lamenters, which are still trapped in prison cells because.
I love the idea of this crazy force that could escape, and you just have 300 crazed Lamenters. Who apparently have had only like 20 years of solitary, but still, I mean, that's 20 years.
And what I like about it is that they took the Lamenter gene seed that they'd gotten, and they said, all right, here's new Lamenters. Don't worry about those guys. Yeah. But all of you guys that don't know anything about what just happened have to go on a penance crusade. See you later.
Yeah.
Goodbye. Go out there, and we'll tell you when you're ready. It's
I mean, we're also in like a situation where like they're getting all this crusading and stuff done, but fuck, I don't know. It's just it's weird. Like it's such a cool random thing that you have 311 guys. Like it's almost like a horror movie of like a bunch of drunk teens find this as like a hangout ship. And they don't know they're trapped in there with 311 crazed Space Marines. I don't know, Jason X, Lamenter X,
Zom Mentors.
Zom Mentors.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah,
it's the next movie night.
I'd watch it. But yeah, so you got those guys out there doing that, and they just come back from being bad guys. They probably know, like the chapter master probably knows, I imagine, what the deal is, that these 311 guys are left, and the rest of the guys are kind of like, well,
don't tell them.
We did our penance. We're good. I mean, Space Sharks technically are doing some sort of penance too, but nobody knows for what it is, and why.
I think we can all kind of guess.
It's definitely not murder, rape, and pillage. Which,
no. No, it wouldn't be.
It's probably
couldn't
redacted.
be. Then who?
Yeah.
They double parked there.
So
Land Raider.
Hey. It turns out it was actually the Space Sharks who took out the first Carthaginian inquisitorial expedition ship, the ship. They just showed up like, this ship's nice. We need this for going deep into the maw to fight off with shit you don't actually want to know about. So we'll take it. It's good. So that is the Badab War.
Yeah. It was really neat. I think it was a fun, yet another.
So much stuff.
Yeah.
It really is super long. It should have been probably like 3 episodes to talk about it properly.
Yeah, seriously, I had no idea. I mean, I know there's a lot of fluff there, but they really go into a lot of granular detail. Because I don't think we really focus that much into the details of anything else we've ever done.
So Huron on the battlefield with the Forge World model has a rule called Big Guns Never Tire, where once per battle in the shooting phase, you unleash a special bombardment.
Oh no!
You nominate a target enemy unit. Characters may not be targeted, but if you target that unit on a 2+, the unit suffers D6 mortal wounds.
Oh wow! So that's 8th edition.
That's 8th edition one. Yeah.
Okay.
If he's reduced to 0 wounds, roll a dice. If you roll a 5+, he gets back up with 1 wound.
Okay. Wow.
You get an additional command point for using him as your warlord. He's pretty freaking rad.
Yeah. Cool.
Except that he looks like garbage.
Oh, I don't know. I'm just looking at his profile.
This is the Forge World one.
Yeah. He has rad weapons that are AP -5, D3 damage, strength +1 for his Ghost Razor. He's an Artificer Flamer. D3 damage, Assault D6. Holy shit. His Flamer is D6 wounds, and each of those does D3 damage.
Whoa,
-1. -1.
Okay.
Yeah, so, and at strength 5. So he is pretty freaking rad.
Yeah.
Holy shit, I'm looking at him like
Huron or the
okay.
the
that's Loyalist Huron. That's
he's
Tyrant.
badass then.
Yeah.
But that's Tyrant. But yeah, I don't see points.
Oh, okay.
So much text on this points page.
Oh, all
right. Can I point out I'm not a fan of the way that the books are laid out now?
Which books? The Forge World ones?
No, the
index?
the codexes and indexes in general.
Oh, okay.
With all the points being set.
Yeah, that is obnoxious.
215 points.
That's not bad. That's really not bad.
No, and he's great.
It's the same amount as an Inceptor squad.
Oh man, I'd be curious to
how's that Inceptor squad doing with D6 mortal wounds?
Well, they plan on going anywhere near Huron, so they're going to take out Huron's.
You just nominate a point on the table. It doesn't have a range.
Well,
wow.
They have a special rule called "Shut Up, John."
Called Super Cuck.
Yeah.
I would be super happy if I saw that in a book. I'm not going to lie.
I can make that happen.
Yeah.
I'm going to start my Astral Iron Fist or Iron Hands.
your Astral Iron Fist.
Yeah.
or your
start using the rules for those guys.
your Iron Claws.
Iron Claws.
Yeah, Iron Claws. There we go.
Perfect. All right, let's Badab.
Yeah.
Let's
take a breather.
Take a breather and come back. Holy cow, yeah.
Gynecomastia is a myth, and so is gout. Ever met somebody with gout? I thought so. Why do we know much about these? Because we are soy. It is our job to know about your body. What we do know is, soy is a complete protein that can replace animal protein. It is a great dietary fiber, and can reduce your LDL and triglycerides. We also know that if you develop man boobs, it is not our fault. It is your dad's. Soy milk. It's not as bad as they say.
Oh man, I'm just gonna clank.
Holy shit! What are you doing over there?
Well, I was clanking my mic stand around and getting it all ready, and then you're like, I'm just gonna press play. Holy shit! I'm like, okay, well, I'm just gonna keep fucking clanking my mic stand around.
Fucking your mic stand.
I was gonna.
Yeah. If only it was individual digital tracks you can delete.
Oh crap.
So yeah, that was us. We were gonna do more, but shit.
Jeez.
Badab Apparently something that takes up 2 Imperial armor books takes up a lot of time to talk about barely.
Seriously.
I am badabbed out.
So I'm thinking it's just time for bed.
It's time for bed. Yeah.
However, just a little spoiler, I think we should have the Carrion Throne read next time. So if you haven't read the Carrion Throne, get your readings up so we don't spoil it horribly.
Yep, the Carrion Throne, the buddy cop comedy between an Inquisitor and a Custode in the seedy underbelly of Terra. And if there's not like one fake robot prostitute, I'm going to be sad.
Well, I'm about 80 pages in, and there's no fake robot
spoilers.
yet.
Spoilers. Come on, man.
Come on, Jesus Christ.
So, but it's really good so far. So I think if you haven't picked it up, read it. I could be
picked it
wrong. I'm actually telling you, Dave. Oh, if you haven't read it, Dave, read it.
So
so you can be present in our conversation.
So pick up the Carrion Throne and read it, or listen to us spoil it. Either way, just listen. That's all we need.
Yep.
Bum nuts, another Australian word.
Full circle.
Yeah, full circle. Oh, poop. Apparently,
I
call someone a dill. Yeah, I've called someone a dill. It's not an Australian thing. Yeah. You're gonna fall arse over tit.
That's just that could be just about anybody.
Yeah, snow season. Australian. It's icy snow season.
A drop kick is apparently another way of saying fuckwit.
Oh.
What's the oh shit word? Because I can't remember it and I wanted to use it the other day.
Here's one that says, Callum, stop piss farting around and do your homework. Piss farting around.
Piss farting?
Yeah.
I want to piss fart. That sounds fun.
It's good stuff.
It's just like all of a sudden sprays funny in a second, like it's the whole backside of the bathroom.
You can say someone has a face like a sucked mango.
I can visualize that.
You're as ugly as a hat full of
looking at it. What are you talking
about?
And then beats the shit out of me. I heard that one. Packing shit, nick off, tight arses, pig's arse, Grogan, piss bolt, shit arse, goit, suck a fart, you fligging mongrel, pushing shit uphill, hanging shit, arse wipe.
All right, so John's lost
I'm
it.
Lost.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Right,
Goodbye.
Bye.
This episode of Mob Rules has been brought to you by Mob Rules Media. Please join our Facebook group to be part of the conversation at facebook.com/MobRulesAK. You can also email us at themob@tophat-arts.com. Thanks for checking us out, and we will see you in 2 weeks.